Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. Ryan Carolden set to make his 12th start of the year. Has one relief appearance. He's been the ace all season long for the Hoppers, and they are going to need more of that tonight. The Unicorns looking to continue their improbable run after a 6-run comeback last night, trailing 7-1 at the start of the 6th inning. They put up 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, another in the 8th, and 3 in the 9th to take the lead and win it by a final score of 8-7. The Hoppers looking to get back to the championship game for the first time since 2021, in which they lost to the Unicorns. If the Hoppers win tonight, we will have a first-time champion tomorrow in either the Hoppers or the Mammoths, but certainly the Fat Lady is not ready to sing yet. We've got to get this game started. Lucas Gooden will lead things off for the Unicorns, followed by Phil Matulia and Felix Aberrett. Lefty-lefty to start tonight for the Unicorns. Carolden, a little bit better against right-handed pitching than lefties. Gooden, very good last night. No pun intended. 3 for 5, and the go-ahead RBI in the top of the 9th to win the game for the Unicorns. Also walked, had 6 plate appearances last night. First pitch is a fastball outside at 7:02, and we're underway. Two straight outside the zone for Carolden. 3-pitch mix, four-seam fastball, curveball, changeup. And a heavy dose of fastballs, that curveball, the put-away pitch. Behind Gooden, 2-0, and another fastball misses outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Gooden, one of the best batters in this league at forcing pitchers to throw strikes. Carolden's going to need one here. Fastball and Gooden just a little bit late on the 3-0. Fouls it back, 3 balls and a strike. Lucas Gooden, a .269 average in the regular season this year, worked 34 walks and only struck out 20 times. He had 20 RBIs this year. Fantastic eye at the plate and discipline. The 3-1. Lifted into center. Going back is Flores. And that one just off the end of the bat. Gooden caught it well to deep center field, but it's just the first out. One down for Phil Matulia, who came on in the 6th to pinch hit last night. Came on in the 6th and still got 3 plate appearances, 2 of them hits, including the game-tying infield single in the 9th. On a little broken bat bouncer to third. Carolden starts him off with a curveball that misses. 1 ball, no strikes, and Carolden unable to find the zone through the first 2 batters here. Another fastball misses. You see him kind of hop on the mound. Just doesn't seem comfortable right now. His demeanor, his delivery. Fastball in on the ground. Burke fields it on the backhand, and he'll underhand flip to Carolden covering. And despite the discomfort for the starting pitcher, he's got 2 quick outs. 3-1, the put out on the ground out, and Felix Aberrett batting for the first time. A home run in the game last night, 2 for 4 total, did a little bit of everything. An RBI himself on the solo shot, scored twice, also walked and struck out. First pitch. Curveball under the zone, and Hughes blocks it, but it's ball one. Aberrett has been very good in the playoffs. This is his third playoffs in the USPBL. Once with the Hoppers, once with the Beavers, and now with the Unicorns. Swings through the fastball. Mentioned how good he was last year in the championship game. The MVP of that game for the Beavers. 1-1. Thought about going for the changeup. Hughes points out to Carolden, says that's a good pitch, and that's a big league take from Aberrett. Fastball called strike. Spotted low and away. Aberrett doesn't like the call, but it's 2-2. Carolden found the zone, just painted the black perfectly. 93 with the fastball. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Ryan Carolden strikes out Aberrett, and it's a quick 1-2-3 for the Unicorns. Not getting the offense that they did last night. We'll see how the Hoppers start this game when we come back with the bottom of the first here on the USPBL Network.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, where you've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Bottom of the first, scoreless, and Tristan Harvin on the mound for the Unicorns. He did pitch last night, went an inning and 2/3 as he came on in the fourth in relief of Andrew Huffman, the pitcher of the year, who just wasn't pitching that way. He just didn't quite have it, and the Unicorns had to go to their bullpen much earlier than they would have liked. And now they've got to find a way to get 9 innings out of probably 4 guys. That's what they're hoping. It might just end up having to be 5. They only have 3 pitchers who didn't pitch last night. That's Connor Tomasic, Garrett Bonnet, and Jacob Harsany. I think many people around the league thought Jacob Harsany would start tonight. Instead, Jim Essien goes with Tristan Harvin. He faced 6 batters last night, gave up a hit and a run. It was unearned. Walked 1 and struck out 2. On the season, he's thrown 65 and 2/3 total innings, more than any Unicorns pitcher, and a 4.25 ERA in those 65-plus innings. It'll be Acevedo, Marcoux, and Joe Burke. For those of you just joining us, if you missed the pregame and want to go watch it, we had some technical difficulties. You'll have to go back, if you're watching on YouTube, to the past live streams and find it. It'll break down this matchup. The Unicorns obviously coming off the comeback win last night, down 6 runs going into the 6th. And they got 7 runs over the next 4 innings, including 3 in the 9th, down to their last strike. Not only their last out, their last strike multiple times before getting a 2-run infield single from Phil Matuli on a ball that got away from the first baseman J.D. Stubbs, and then Lucas Gooden was the hero, bringing home Patrick Baggett on a single to left. Acevedo gets out of the way of a high fastball. For Harvin, it's 3 pitches: fastball, splitter, curveball. Harvin hasn't been spectacular this season against the Hoppers. Right back up the middle, and he fields it. Nice job by Tristan Harvin. He'll get the first out on an easy flip over to Gooden at first. Harvin's last start this season came against the Hoppers. That was in that Saturday doubleheader just about a week ago on the 2nd. Wasn't great. 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, and only 1 strikeout. Noah Marcoux swings at the first pitch and bounces it a couple times foul. On the season, we mentioned it in the pregame if you didn't catch it, 29 hits in 22 plus innings against the Hoppers for Harvin. The ERA is below 4. But he has been tagged a couple times, right over the glove of Aberrett with the curveball, 1-1 as it's outside. The walks and strikeouts both higher and lower than their season averages for Tristan against the orange and white. 1-1. High in the air, just beyond second base. Shallow center. Pastor coming in. Baggett is there. Pastor will call him and Donovan Curiel off and make the grab. And now the co-MVP, Joe Burke, will dig in. Burke and center fielder Chris Davis for the Beavers, who have now been eliminated, were the selected co-MVPs this year. Burke, the home run champion, with 8 on the season. 307 average to boot, and OPS just shy of 900. Burke had a fantastic August, hitting almost 350. 9 RBIs and a couple home runs. Harvin, the 1-1. Hard on the ground foul over at third base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outside to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes with the fastball. Velocity already a little bit lower for Harvin, and that's to be expected with him throwing 2 days in a row. 18 outings this year, 16 of them starts. He's not used to doing this. I think Jim Essien is just hoping to get 2 innings out of him and try to find a way to get through the rest of the game, the other 7 innings, with the 3 pitchers he has left. Jacob Harson, he can go deep. So can Connor Tomasic. The 2 have primarily been starters this year. The payoff pitch to Burke with 2 outs. Fouled away. We're almost guaranteed to see the 3 that didn't throw last night. Harsany on the year, 16 outings, 4 starts. Tomasic spent a lot of the season on the injured list, but he has 10 appearances and 6 of them starts. And a 2-out walk to Joe Burke with the full count. That's the first base runner of the game. We mentioned it a little bit, the walks have been above average for Harvin when he faces the Hoppers, averaging about 4 per 9. Has faced the Hoppers 5 times this year, started every one. Righty on lefty matchup, Schellenbarger, the right fielder, takes a high fastball in. 1 ball, no strikes. Lefties have been way better against Harvin this year than righties. They're hitting .360. This one softly out to center, just kind of filleted, and that might drop in no man's land. It's off the glove of Baggett. Burke stays at second, nowhere to run as Baker and Pastor were closing quickly to relieve Baggett. That's a tough fly ball to go catch running back, and he made a good effort on it, but not enough. And that could prove to be big as Joey Califoot, another lefty, will now dig in. Goes on the board as a hit, and I think that's correct. Very tough play for Baggett. So a 2-out single keeps the inning alive. Califoot this year, the third hopper above 300. It's Marcoux, Burke, and Califoot. Joey's at 303. The 1-0. Fouled back, just sliced at it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Califoot's been good against both sides. Better against left-handed pitching, actually, but much less at bats. The left fielder is hitting .292 against right-handers on the mound this season. On the ground to second. It's actually first. Gooden will pick it up. Scoop to his pitcher. Harvin stumbles off the bag, but he did step on it and slipped on it. But that's enough to make the out. So the walk and single don't do any damage. A scoreless first inning here at Jimmy John's Field. We'll head to the second between the Unicorns and the Hoppers.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARBCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARBCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARBCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarbcom.com.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's, $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Good crowd on hand. Friday night playoff baseball. Hoppers and Unicorns here at Jimmy John's Field. No football on tonight. Come on down to the ballpark. Catch a game at Unicorns dugout. Last night was having fun. They're having fun tonight. Jace Bauman giving us the thumbs up. Batting in the top of the second. 4, 5, and 6 as Carolden went easily through the first 3. It'll be Baker, Weber, and Pastor. Lefty, righty, lefty. Talked a little bit about how Harvin has been against the Hoppers this year. Well, what about Carolden against the Unicorns? Very good. Only 3 earned runs in 14 innings. That's a 1.88 ERA. Doesn't walk many either. 2.5 per 9. The 0-1 to Baker. Swing and a miss right on top of the splitter. No balls and 2 strikes. Baker stays alive with the foul ball. Back to the screen. Josh this season has actually been pretty good against right-handed pitching. .255 average. For the year, he's hitting .236. Leads the Unicorns in home runs with 5. just catches a piece out in front of the splitter again. Unicorns have struggled mightily in the slugging category this year. League worst .318 slugging percentage. The on base has been right around average. The batting average has been last, but closer to the rest of the league. They just have not had much extra base power. What little has been provided has often come from this guy. .390 slug for Baker on the year. The 1-2. And got him, strike three. Splitter in the zone this time. Baker can't help but watch it go by. Strikeout number 2 for Carolden. He's retired the first 4. It's really interesting when you look at the slugging percentage for the Unicorns as it compares to the rest of the league. As we mentioned, significantly behind by about 30 points of the next closest. Weber swings through a 1-0 fastball. With the home runs, they're tied for last with the best offensive team in the league, the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Each of them have 21. The Hoppers and the Beavers both around 30. But it's the doubles and triples that the Unicorns have not had. One and two on Weber. Out to right, but hooking foul. In the dirt, a 57-foot splitter from Carolden makes it 2-2. Up with the fastball. Full count. Second 3-ball count for Carolden. We saw a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of full counts last night on both sides. Led to a long night, but a fun one. And this payoff pitch is fouled back. We saw a lot of that, too. A lot of 2-strike foul balls from each team to hang in at bats. Game was about 3 hours and 40 minutes last night. That's what happens when you get 15 runs, 9 pitchers combined between the two teams. 3-2 again. On the ground to short. The defensive player of the year scoops it up and fires to first. Second out in the second. Now it'll be Nick Pastor. The 6-hole. Fourth lefty in the lineup for the Unicorns. They'll have 5 in total when Baggett comes up. The switch hitter will bat left. He looks at a fastball low and in for strike one. Asked Nick when the last time he played second base before last night was, because he's been in center all season long and has been one of the better defenders in the league. He had to play second last night because Phil Matulia in the 6th inning pinch hit for the second baseman Donovan Curiel, and Matulia plays in the outfield. 0-2 over the head of Pup, and the first base hit of the night for the Unicorns comes off the bat of Nick Pastor with 2 outs. Softly to left, that brings up Ramon Enriquez. So Matulia had to pinch hit for Curiel. He's a right fielder. That's where he went when he stayed in the game, which meant the right fielder at the time, Diaz, had to come in. He played first. That's at the first baseman Gooden over to third. And the third baseman Weber had to go play second. But then they pinch hit later again. Running on the pitch, Pastor. Good throw from Hughes. They did not get him. Whoa. Acevedo was back towards the dugout. Thought they had him, but Pastor steals a bag and is now in scoring position. Nick, that's his team leading 17th of the year. Pitch was low and away to Enriquez, so 1 ball, no strikes. Base hit could break this scoreless tie early in the top of the second. Curveball finds the zone, 1-1. But anyways, I asked Pastor when the last time he played second base was. He said, freshman year of high school. It had been a long time for him since he had been in the infield. Fouled away. And of course, 2 batters after getting sent to second base, there's a ground ball right to him. Ball just seems to find you in this game, and he booted it for an error. And I told him, I said, I felt bad for you, man. They gave you an error, and I told him, give him a break. It's been forever since he played second. And he admitted, though, that, he said, nah, I'm good enough. I should have made that play. It was an error. Accountability from Pastor is always good to see. The 1-2 up to Enriquez with the fastball. That's just the type of player that he is and has been all season long. Reliable, consistent, and holds himself accountable. Expects to make that play even though it's been 8 or 9 years since he played second base. 1 on, 2 outs. The 2-2 to Enriquez. Fouled back to the screen over to the right. Another overcast day here in Utica, Michigan. Cloudy skies all day long. Same thing as yesterday. No rain today, though. The 2-2. And ball 3. Hughes and the entire Hopper defense were back towards the dugout. Good pitch with the splitter low and away. But home plate umpire says it did not catch any of the plate. So another full count, and Enriquez will take his timeout. Crolden comes set. Pastor at second, the payoff pitch. And he walked him. First walk given up for Crolden. Taps his chest to say, that's my bad. And the Unicorns threatening a little bit here in the second. Patrick Baggett. The switch hitting shortstop. We'll dig into the left-handed batter's box. First pitch takes low and away. Baggett, a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year and the Sportsmanship Award this season. Fun guy to talk to, one of the nicest people in the league. Has been a great defender all year at short. Has that calm kind of swagger, but also not cocky demeanor about him. And he said, man, that 9th inning at bat last night, I was nervous. He worked a full count walk to load the bases and came around 1 batter later as the winning run. And even a guy like Patrick Baggett had nerves. Just goes to show you how much it means to all of these players, even the ones that don't get to win and continue their careers. For some of them, this will be their last professional baseball game. Crolden, the 2-1. Missing low and in. 3 balls and a strike, and Ryan Crolden finds himself in an early jam. Keeping an eye on the left field bullpen all night long because Ryan Kottke said he'll have a quicker trigger maybe than normal to the pen. Other than that, this is a regular game for the Hoppers. He's going to manage it regularly. 3 balls and a strike. And another ball 4. Baggett Loads the bases again with a walk, just as he did in the 9th last night. This time it's a little earlier. Pastor over to third, Enriquez down to second, and Donovan Curiel strides to the plate. On the season, Carolden has only walked just over 2 batters per 9 when facing the Unicorns, and it's already 2 in this inning. On the year, the Hoppers have gotten the better of the Unicorns. They've played each other 16 times. The Hoppers have won 10 of those, a +7 run differential. And just mentioning that they've won 10 of 16 doesn't tell the full story. They've won 6 of the last 7 leading up to these playoffs. The only one that they lost was the final game of the regular season here in the USPBL, Game 2 of last Saturday's doubleheader. First pitch to Curiel with the bases loaded. Takes a fastball right in the heart of the zone for a strike. Call that middle, and it's 0-1. Goes with the curveball this time. 0-2. Carolden just 1 strike away from getting out of this early bases-loaded jam. Curiel will use his timeout. Donovan only got 2 at-bats last night. 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Was pinch hit for in the 6th. That was when Phil Matulia came in. That was with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 6th, and the Unicorns trailing 7-2. Inside, did that clip him? He gets back to the batter's box, just missed. An ooh from the crowd as it was very close. With 2 outs, single, walk to load the bases. Carolden trying to get out of it. The 1-2. Swing. Did he go around? Appeal to first. He did not. A half swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Typically have only 2 umpires in the regular season. 1 in the field, 1 behind home plate here in the USPBL. In the playoffs, we up it to 3, which means there's someone at first base at all times, which helps on those check swing calls. 2-2 now. Swing out to right field. This one slicing. Foul by about 8 feet. Looked like it could have been a bases clearing double for Curiel. There's speed on the bases with Baggett and Pastor. Enriquez likely scores from second as well, but it's just a long strike. But it's important that we've got someone at first all night for those check swings, because often during the regular season, if there's a check swing from a right-handed batter, if there's an appeal, it goes to the umpire in the field, and you can see him right now on the right side of your screen. He's behind the mound. That's not a great angle to check those checked swings. 2-2 one more time. Swing and a miss. Carolden, high fastball, cheese, and strike 3. Gets out of the bases-loaded jam in the 2nd, his 3rd K of the night. And now the Hoppers will get their chance in the 2nd when we come back. 0-0 on the USPBL Network.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Jimmy John's Field, bundled up on a chilly Friday night here in downtown Utica. The lights are on, and so is this game. 0-0 through an inning and a half. Time for the bottom of the second, and when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by members of the American Home Brewers Association. Play ball with the best. Two Hearted Ale, the iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery in Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. Flores, Maddox, Hughes, 6, 7, 8. 2 up for the Hoppers. He sent 5 to the plate last time. Flores, deep left field. This one's back. First pitch, gone! Flores puts the Hoppers on the board first with a blast. His second of the year. It's 1-0. Hoppers lead it early. A souvenir for that young fan. And Anthony Flores is excited right now. So is his team. You could hear the cheers from the dugout as soon as it left the bat. Got a hanging curveball and jumped all over it. Todd Maddox takes a curveball for a strike. That one a little bit into the wind. Now Maddox on the ground. 3 bounces for Baggett as he fields it chest high and fires a stripe over to first. Harvin has only given up 1 home run to the Hoppers this year. Before that one to Flores, that was to Joey Califoot in his last start in game 1 of that doubleheader. On the year, he's now given up 5 long balls. Whit Hughes batting for the first time tonight. Breaking ball in for a strike. Now we keep an eye on the bullpen in right field. The one for the Unicorns. There is a pitcher over there with a, looks like, towel over their head, so we have no idea who that is. We can only speculate that it's either Jacob Parsony, Connor Tomasic, or Garrett Bonnet, one of the 3 that didn't throw last night. But I don't expect to see Harvin for much more than 2 innings. And with a deep shot already, he still has to get out of the second. The 0-2. Breaking ball framed well by Aberrett, but just outside. And the 1-2 curveball is in the dirt. Two and two. And another one in the dirt. Blocked by Aberrett again. That time the splitter. So a full count for Hughes. The catcher hitting 193 on the season. Did have a big stretch at the end of July into August where he hit 291 with 3 home runs. The first 3 of his career. Was up for the Developmental Player of the Year award, and rightfully so. Lifts this one to right field. Racing over is Matuli. A long run to the foul line, and it's foul just up against the bullpen. And we can see now that's Jacob Harsany out there beginning his warm-up routine. So what we expected, Harvin to Harsany, likely next inning. Should Harvin get out of this second inning without too much more trouble. Seventh pitch of the Hughes Harvin up, double flip over, and to think about leaving. First pitch up, 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. And the curveball away by 1 pitches for Harvin. He faced 6 batters last night. Pup his 9th tonight. The 1-1 outside. Outside again. Ball. Underseed. Stealing threat over at first. The Hoppers are not a base stealing threat as a team. Last in the league in stolen bases. Pup lifts this one to deep right field. Matulia over. He won't have anywhere to get it as it lands in the bullpen. Another full count and a move back to first. Hughes 1 for 1 in stolen bases this season. Pup, your 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, has struggled at the plate. 3-2 out into right center. This one's down to the gap. Hughes racing around second, picking it up is the right fielder Matulia. Extra bases for Pup as he slides into second safely. Fired up with a big 1-out double. And the Hoppers might be rallying in the second. Hughes got the stop sign at third. Full count double for Alex Pup to turn the lineup over to Luis Acevedo. Nothing from the dugout, nothing they really can do. Harvin has to stay in at least until Harsiny's finished his warm-up routine. Now 2 in scoring position for the second baseman, Acevedo. Grounded out back to the pitcher his first time. Have to think maybe an intentional walk might be on here just to get a runner on first. Obviously, you'd have to face Noah Marcoux next, a lefty, which you don't want to do if you're the Unicorns in any situation. Acevedo ropes it back to the dugout. 1-1. But anything in play might score 2. Hughes should score easily from third on anything in the outfield. Anything down probably scores from second. He's an aggressive base runner over there. The 1-1. Right to short, Baggett leaps. Doesn't throw back to second. Big out by Harvin. Acevedo hit it hard twice, once foul and once right to the shortstop for the second out. And you still, even with 2 outs, don't like seeing Noah Marcoux in this situation. .310 average to lead the Hoppers on the season. Takes a first pitch fastball up and away. He's played in 25 games this year. He's reached base in 24 of them. (1-0). Swing and a miss. Right over the splitter, 1-1. And Marcoux missed significant time in the middle of the year, the heart of the season, with a hamstring injury. He's been only DHing since he came back. Splitter got him again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And don't often want to play the what-if game, but with the way he's hitting the ball, .460 slug and .912 OPS. 2 home runs since being back from injury. Can't help but think about what if Marcoux gets 20 more games like the rest of his teammates that have been healthy have. Here's the 1-2. Takes it high. Arvin reared back and put a little bit more into that one. 85 is about all he can muster right now with the fastball. Just trying to get out of this second inning and do his job as the opener tonight. The damage is only 1 run right now. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him, strike 3. Back to the curveball that time. Marcoux swings over the top. The Hoppers do lead it, though. Anthony Flores, a solo shot to lead off the inning. It's 1-0 as we head to the third.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood.
And reset our life around zapping stuff and cheering for stuff with your friends. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
One time through the order, Ryan Carolden has given up a hit and 2 walks, but no runs and 3 strikeouts. So he faces the top of the order in the top of the third, Gooden, Matulia, and Aberrett. Lefty, lefty, righty for Carolden. He got through those 3 easily to start this game in the first. Fly out, ground out, strikeout. Carolden at Wayne State last year, back in 2022, 75 2/3 innings. Then followed that up this past season in 2023 with another 75 2/3 innings. And then 49 1/3 before tonight. 125 innings on the year, the most he's ever thrown in one calendar season. And he's still going strong here into the playoffs. A curveball first pitch strike to Gooden. Boy, Gooden saw plenty of curveballs last night from Greg Lokinen. That knuckle curve that he throws was devastating to the tune of 12 strikeouts. And I think you wouldn't believe me, and I wouldn't blame you, if I told you that the starter for the Beavers went 6 innings of 2 runs and 12 strikeouts. And they were up 7-1 when he left. 7-2, I should say. I don't think you'd believe me if I told you they lost that game, but they did. Gooden had 3 hits last night. 2 of them came after Lokinen had left the game. This one's on the ground, and it's his first of the night as it's through the right side of the infield. Lucas Gooden just continues to play well for this Unicorns team. And if they're going to have any shot tonight at going back to the championship where they've been so many times already, he's going to have to keep playing well. Leadoff man on, Phil Matulia up. Looks at a fastball, strike one. Not many at-bats for Matulia this season. Only 16 games so far when you add in last night's. He's hitting .340. 17 for 47. So that's always a good start. He's a good bat. Clearly you can tell that Jim Essien trusts this bat because in a big spot last night with the bases loaded, trying to get back into the game down by 5 runs. He pinch hit Matulia with 2 outs. Now Matulia struck out in that at-bat, but he got 2 more hits in the ensuing 2 at-bats after that. So there's some weight to the low sample size numbers for the Houston, Texas native. Behind 0-2 here. Swings and it's a high fly ball to center field. Flores going back to the gap, to the track, to the wall. Base of the wall. A high fly ball that hung up forever, and it's a double for Phil Matulia. You could see him looking at Gooden, telling him he wanted him to go. He thinks Gooden should have scored from first on that. I think Gooden thought he was going to trot home. Instead, it's second and third with nobody out for Felix Aberret. The Unicorns looking to respond after giving up a run in the second. And any little bit of wind tonight would have helped Phil Matulia there. Instead, Felix Aberret's got some work to do. Nobody out, 2 on. First pitch, fastball, strike. Infield drawn in a little bit. Not as much as we've normally seen. Often when it's a runner on third and less than 2 outs, they'll be right up to the infield grass. They're about even with the base paths right now. The 0-1. Curveball, good layoff by Aberret. Good looking pitch from Carolden. One and one. Outside. Back-to-back hits to start the inning for the Unicorns. And boy, would they love to at least bring one of those runs home. They've left more men on base this season than any team in the league. Part of their offensive struggles has been the inability to string hits together and put up big innings. Aberret back up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Lucas Gooden scores. Matulia around third. He'll score easily. And there it is. 3 straight knocks. The Unicorns string them together and they take the lead. This is shaping up to be a game, folks. Felix Aberret continues to produce in the playoffs. 3 home runs in the championship game last year. Asked him about it. He said, I don't even really think about it that much. You know, I said, you like playing in the pressure games and the big situations? He says, I guess. It just kind of feels like every other game to me. Maybe I'm thinking about it, maybe I'm not. But either way, I seem to play well. A home run last night. Went 2 for 4 total. And now with 2 runs single in the third to put his team up. Baker home run pop. 1 ball and 1 strike. He struck out the first time against Carolden. Talked about the quick trigger for Ryan Kotke. Maybe we wouldn't normally see this, but now the bullpen's busy. 3 straight hits in the third. Baker out to left. 4 straight hits. Califoot fields it, and he'll throw it into Alex Pup. Single, double, single, single in the third. Still nobody out. And this will cause a mound visit from Whit Hughes. Neither manager Ryan Kotke or assistant manager Mike Rice come out of the dugout. It sounds like the only player we can't expect to pitch tonight for the Hoppers is Brett Irwin. Warming up right now is Pierce Banks. Coming back to the USPBL, the pitcher of the year candidate in 2021. Was the ace for the Hoppers last year before signing with the Minnesota Twins. He's now back. But only Brett Irwin are we expecting to not see, because the Hoppers are hoping that if they win tonight, he can start tomorrow. Good pick by Hughes that saved an extra 90 feet from both base runners. 1 ball, no strikes to Jared Weber. But Irwin asked Kotke before the game, what should I expect? Am I going to go? And Kotke admitted, I'm never going to say never, because you have to win this game and try to get to tomorrow before you can even start thinking about tomorrow and planning for tomorrow. It's always in the back of your mind as a manager, but you have to get there first. We already saw the internal battle of that philosophy with a manager last night for John Dombrowski. Michael Esposito, the pitcher of the year, was in the bullpen warming when the Unicorns had their 2-out, 3-run rally in the 9th. Sorry, Esposito, the reliever of the year, not pitcher of the year. That's Andrew Huffman for the Unicorns, who threw last night. And now Ryan Kotke's really got a lot to think about. 3 balls and no strikes to Jared Weber. 2 runs in the inning already, 4 hits. The 3-0. And ball 4. Bases loaded, nobody out. Ryan Carolden struggling in this 3rd inning. Dugout stays quiet. And Hughes communicating with the infield where to go with the ball. Probably going to come home first. Telling the middle guys to turn 2. Burke is in at first. Maddox in at 3rd. Burke hugging the line. This one's over to right field. Well struck right in front of Schellenbarger. This will score 1. Being waved around is Baker. The throw to the plate in time. Did he tag him? He didn't. Baker slid right over it. Nick Pastor comes up big with a 2-run single. And here comes Ryan Kotke. Is this a conversation from Kotke, or is he taking the ball from Carolden? He is taking the ball. Ryan Carolden's day is done. How about the Unicorns? A solo shot they give up in the bottom of the 2nd. They respond. Single, double, single, single, walk, single. They've put up 4 in the 3rd, and we're not done. Nobody out. Pitching change after the break on the USPBL Network. It'll be Pierce Banks.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com. You can always rely on Tryon.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Pierce Banks gets the call out of the bullpen in relief of Ryan Carolden, who faces 6 batters in the third and records no outs. 5 hits, 4 runs, and a walk. The third inning has been Carolden's bugaboo all season long. Early in the year, we could tell this guy's the ace. The stuff is good. The fastball is good. He's got swing and miss stuff. But the third inning, it was very strange. He'd get 2 1/3, 2 2/3, and then here'd come a walk, a couple hits, a home run. And it was just a mental thing, Ryan Cockey told us this season. And again, in the biggest game of the year so far for the Hoppers, Carolden just unable to get through the third inning. So Pierce Banks has to come on and get 3 outs. He comes on with a jam, too. Runners at first and second. Weber walked and advanced to second on the Nick Pastor 2-run single right behind him. So it'll be Ramon Enriquez, Baggett on deck, Curiel in the hole. Banks, the first pitch, fastball up. Pierce Banks, 25-year-old, native of Sterling Heights, just down the street here from Utica. Locally went to Adrian College. Was there for 5 seasons. 5 good seasons there, a career collegiate ERA below 3. Started his professional career with the Hoppers. Pitched in the Minnesota Twins organization the last 2 summers. Fires in a fastball low. 3 balls and no strikes. The 3-0. And Enriquez taking all the way. It's a fastball for a strike. Three balls, 1 strike. Inside, 4 balls. Second walk in the inning. First one for Banks right out of the bullpen. Loads the bases again. Boy, the Unicorns have had the bases loaded a bunch in these playoffs. Second time tonight. For Pierce, it's a 4-seam fastball, changeup, curveball, slider mix. Has that very unique delivery, kind of quick to the plate, a little hitchy, and right over the top with the arm slot. He delivers to Baggett. A spinning curveball up. 2 balls and no strikes. Baggett walked last time. Hoppers just need someone to find the strike zone right now. (2-0), fouled back. Banks has only had 6 innings since coming back to the USPBL this summer. Over 2 seasons in the Florida Complex League with the Twins, got 37 innings. Career ERA above 5. Walks were low and strikeouts were high, but ultimately couldn't stay there. Looking to help his team out of this jam. 3-1 on the ground, foul. Again, infield still drawn in, nobody out with the bases loaded. That would have been a tough play for Burke to make had it stayed fair. He's in and hugging the line a little bit. Maddox off the bag and deep. Middle of the infield at double play depth. 3-2. And another foul ball from Baggett. It's Weber at third, Pastor at second, Enriquez at first. Weber and Enriquez reached on a walk. Pastor, the 2-run single. Something about Jim Essien managed teams turn it around and buck trends in the playoffs. This offense has just gotten so much better in the last 4 games. Baggett to right, hooking foul. Talked about their inability to put rallies together and comebacks together. They came back down 4 runs in game 1 of the doubleheader last Saturday against these Hoppers. They came back down 5 runs in game 2 to win. They came back down 6 runs last night. They give up a run in the second on a deep shot, and they put up 4 the next inning. And ball 4, Pierce Banks walks in the 5th run. What do you do now if you're the Hoppers? Unicorns might bat around this inning if Curiel can avoid a triple play. Pastor to third, Enriquez to second, Baggett to first. 3 walks this inning. Banks has done nothing but walk batters since out of the bullpen. 2 straight. Curiel usually gives a good at bat. The 0-1 curveball fell over the plate watching it, and it's strike 2. He thought it was up. It was up in the zone. Boy, could they use a strikeout here. The 0-2. That one's too high this time. Gooden started this inning with a ground ball single to right. Seemed like it was no big deal at the time. He's now on deck. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Curiel took a rip at a fastball. Pierce Banks 92 right in the zone. Here it is, hit it, and he blew it by him. Curiel Ks for the 2nd time tonight. That's just the first out. Gooden, his 2nd at bat this inning, as they go 1 through 9 with just 1 out. Curveball strike. It's mainly fastball curveball for Banks. The changeup is utilized often as well. And the 0-1. Lifted in the air, foul. Racing over is Maddox. He won't have any room. That's well beyond the seats. This night sky can be difficult to judge fly balls. We saw that last night. Marcus Judd had what looked like a routine pop-up, get above the lights, and once it gets up there, it's anybody's guess. Very difficult to see. Players always marvel at how it just disappears up there. Just up there, and it's gone. The 0-2 outside. Gooden this year, 273 against righties. Like we talk about, almost every player, way more at-bats against righties than lefties. Almost every pitcher, way more at-bats against righties than lefties. Only 25 at bats against the left side, but 325 for Gooden this year. The 2-2 against the righty Banks. Smoked it high into the air. Acevedo camped under it, and he'll make the grab. No trouble for him with the lights for the second out. That one run that came across on the walk from Banks is charged to Carolden. 2 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts for the starter tonight. And boy, would the Hoppers like to just only have 1 run come across since Banks came on. Hoppers fans need something to cheer about. The 0-1. Another curveball. Matulia knew it as soon as he saw it land. 0-2. Matulia's double was the extra base hit that really felt like it sparked this inning. With no outs, it put runners at second and third. Now he swings and misses at the changeup outside. Pierce Banks clinical against Matulia on 3 pitches. 1 run does come across with the bases loaded walk. 5 come across in the inning. That strikeout is our 5th third out of the game. Brought to you always by 5th Third Bank. 5-1 Unicorns as we head to the bottom of the third. Not before JJ the Water Boy makes his delivery to one of our 3 umpires tonight. Little chilly night, but always glad to get some water, some refreshments from our furry friend. 5-1 Unicorns. We head to the bottom of the third. Hoppers batting, looking for some offense. After this.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Well, all of that changed very quickly. 5-1 Unicorns off of 5 hits and 3 walks in the third inning. They send 11 batters to the plate. Now Hoppers have some work to do, trailing by 4 runs. In the third, it'll be Joe Burke, Bryant Schellenbarger, and Joey Califoot. And surprise, Tristan Harvin is still on the mound. And I think this is a product of the 5-run inning. A little bit of a cushion now for Harvin. A little bit of larger room for error. Jim Messian, I guess it makes sense. Go try to get 1 more inning. Eat up as many innings as you can with as many guys as you can, or as few guys, I should say. So Harvin gets the third. Burke walked last time. First pitch curveball outside. The velocity has dipped a little bit for Harvin from where it usually is. Throwing last night and tonight. The 1-ball offering is high with the fastball, 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. We thank you for joining us here on the USPBL Network. We apologize for our technical difficulties on Facebook tonight. If you're watching on YouTube from Facebook, we appreciate you for joining us. If you know of others who typically watch on Facebook and can't tonight, let them know. We're free right here on YouTube. Harvin finds the zone with the 3-0, make it 3-1. Winner of tonight's matchup will play in the championship tomorrow against the first place Westside Woolly Mammoths at 6:05, not 7:05, an hour earlier for Championship Saturday. Burke right back to the screen, fills up the count 3-2. The only champions we've ever had in this league are Unicorns and Beavers. 3-2 and ball 4. So Burke walks for the second time tonight. That's the third walk that Harvin has surrendered that brings up Bryant Schellenbarger. Schellenbarger singled his first time up. Never like a leadoff walk if you're rooting for the pitcher. Schellenbarger the opposite way to left. That one's dropping into the glove of Josh Baker. Little late break, but he's able to get to it. F7 for the first out. We talked about the only champions in this league. Here's the career playoff records. Unicorns with the win last night. The best record in USPBL playoff history at 7-3. They also have the most titles with 4. 2016, 19, and then they went 3 straight, 2019, 2020, and 2021. The Beavers, the only other team with a championship to their name. They've got 3 championships. They went back-to-back in 2017 and 2018. And then they were the defending champs coming into this season with a win against the Unicorns last year. They will not defend their title. The Hoppers and Mammoths do have a couple runner-ups. The Hoppers have been there twice, so have the Mammoths. And again, you saw that little asterisk at the bottom. The league started with just Beavers, Unicorns, and Hoppers in 2016. The Mammoths joined a year later in 2017. Califoot strikes this one deep to center field. Hit well. Pastor ranging to the base of the wall off the warning track. Burt gets the stop sign at third. Joey Califoot smacks a double with 1 out. Now the Hoppers threatening to get back in this game. Califoot swinging a good bat all year long. The Wisconsin native comes up with a big double. See if the Hoppers can respond. Flores, 1 at bat tonight, 1 pitch, and a solo home run to his name. 2 on the year, and he takes this one in for a strike. Still Tristan Harvin on the mound. Harsany still warming up in the bullpen for the Unicorns. We know Jim Essien is going to bounce out of that first base dugout soon. Kind of surprised it hasn't been yet. Still have that cushion that we talked about is probably the reason why Harvin is in this inning in the first place. And as of right now, even 1 swing for the Hoppers would still keep the Unicorns in front. Harsany sure looks ready to go. You got to imagine 1 more base runner. And if you're Jim Essien, you just have to get this tired arm out. He's over 40 pitches now, nearing 50. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout there from Harvin. Finding some life late in the gas tank. And that's a big second out. Harvin's second strikeout. Now Todd Maddox. Maddox getting the start at third base tonight. Has not been an everyday starter this year. 39 games, 34 starts. Has traded off a little bit. Some of the other players on the Hoppers. There are 2 on the bench, infielder Chandler Dunn and switch hitting catcher / third baseman Taj Porter. Unicorns resting Angel Diaz and Seth Gurgley to start tonight. Maddox swings through the first 2, 0-2, and Tristan Harvin 1 pitch away from getting out of this jam. This would change the entire complexion of the game. A walk and a double with 1 out made it seem like the Hoppers might get back on the scoreboard. The 0-2 on the ground to third. Charging, fielding Weber, throw to first. And Tristan Harvin has done it. The 2 in scoring position get stranded out there. It's still 5-1 Unicorns as we make our way to the 4th. Right here on the US BBL Network. Don't go anywhere.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Back here, top of the 4th at Jimmy John's Field. It's 5-1 Unicorns in the semifinals with a chance to go to the championship tomorrow and face the Westside Woolly Mammoths. And that's important because we're joined by the assistant manager for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, Justin Karn, up here in the booth. Justin, appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Boy, did this game change quickly, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep, Unicorns are hot right now. They're swinging well. They've gotten themselves out of some jams on the mound too. So you know, long way to go here, but they're playing good baseball right now.
Can't help but think that last ground out for Tristan Harvin after the big 1-out double from Califoot really changes everything in this game if the Hoppers can get on the scoreboard there. But he strands those 2 base runners, and as a guy who's been working with the pitchers all year long on the pitching coordinating staff here in the USBBL, you have to, I mean, that's got to be nice to see.
Yeah, it is. And he did that the previous inning too. He's in a little bit of trouble.
Yep.
And got himself out of it. He made some really good pitches when he needed to. So obviously threw an inning and 2/3 last night, so he's probably not feeling, fully fresh, but he's made the pitches when he's needed to. So that's that's what Tristan does. He's a competitor, and he's going to make good pitches and work himself into jams and work himself out of jams at times.
Aberrett, Baker, and Weber due up in the 4th as the Unicorns sent 11 to the plate in the 3rd. Aberrett was one of the 5 hits that they got. He came around to score as well. He had a 2-run single. Behind 0-1, 1-1. And we speculated up here that Jacob Harsney was going to start the 3rd inning. Yep. And then all of a sudden they go up and put up a 5 spot to get a 4-run lead. Tristan Harvin comes out. If that doesn't happen, do you think is Harvin going out there in the 3rd because of the 5 runs they got instead of Harsney?
I don't think so. I think from talking to manager Jim Essien before the game, they were really just going to try to get what they could out of Harvin. As long as the game was close, they were going to try to ride him and then bridge it through Harsney to the back end of their bullpen, because a lot of their guys that are their bullpen guys through 1 inning. Crichton's probably down, but Colucci's fresh, Bonnet's fresh, and a lot of those guys that have pitched in those high leverage situations all year are fresh for today. So I think he's trying to get Tristan through 4 here probably, and then go to Harsony, get him to the 7th inning, and then probably finish it off 8th and 9th maybe with Colucci and somebody else. So going to Skip's plan right now.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the fun part about the playoff baseball, though, is all the strategy that goes into it, especially in this league with the pitching. As that's ball 4 on the full count to Felix Abaret, the 3rd walk for Pierce Banks. And on the other side, find yourself in a bit of a sticky situation if you're Ryan Kotke here. Neither Carolden or Banks since the start of the 3rd have really been able to throw consistent strikes.
No, yeah. He's his decision probably that he's talking to Mike Rice, his assistant manager down there, about right now is probably if they want to throw Brett Irwin. He's probably slated to start tomorrow, but you got to get to tomorrow first, obviously. So
right.
They do have a good bullpen, but we're still pretty early in the game, so you got to get to that point in the game where you can start using those guys that are more the one-inning guys. So that's a tough decision down there in that dugout right now, what they want to do, but this is the game you got to win before tomorrow.
And this Hoppers team trying to get back to that championship for the first time since 2021 when they lost to these Unicorns. They had a 2-run lead late in that game, and the Unicorns, again, something about Jim Essien teams. Down and out, it seems like they find a way back. They're the only team in USPBL history to win from the 3rd seed. Now, that was back in year 1 when you only had to win 2 games as the 3rd seed. Nobody, since we've had 4 teams, has won 3 straight days and won the championship. We've had a couple get there, but nobody's won it.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of their players, Baker, and a couple of their pitchers before the game here. And we kind of all shared the same sentiment that for the bulk of their year, they have a talented team, they have a deep roster, but early on their pitching was really strong and they were still trying to find their way offensively. For about 2 or 3 weeks their pitching took a step back and their offense started to pick it up. They haven't really clicked in all facets of the game throughout the year, so it looks like that's happening right now at the right time for them. So that's a good thing for Skip, and they're just going to keep riding this momentum, and they're playing confident baseball right now.
And even with 7 runs last night, the pitching is still kind of clicking. The Beavers, who put up those 7 runs quickly in the first 4 innings, held scoreless since then once they got to the bullpen.
Yeah, there's some fluky things last night early on that led to some runs. I think they had 4 runs on 1 hit in the first 3 innings. So, Huffman's he's a pitcher of the year. He's been good all year. He maybe wasn't as sharp as he'd wanted to be last night, but he battled and got him to a point where Skip was able to manage his bullpen really well and give him an opportunity to win that game. And he also did a great job making sure that he didn't overextend guys last night, and there's still some available arms for tonight as well. So he's set up pretty good with his bullpen for tonight.
Baker Kays for the first out of the top of the 4th. On the ground through the left side of the infield for Jared Weber. A measly ground ball single sends it to Nick Pastor with 2 on and 1 out. So you and I talked about this earlier in the year, and I think it's always just even more interesting once we get into the playoffs. But you're the pitching coordinator here in the league, so you work with all of the pitchers, with all of the teams, but you're also still the assistant manager of the Mammoths, balancing that rooting for the Mammoths and rooting for the other guys. And I know you and I joked that you root for, a 0-0 game pretty much when you're facing another pitcher that you work with, or a 1-0 Mammoths win.
Yep.
But in the playoffs, I mean, it's got to be interesting and just kind of strange for you. Still rooting for the Mammoths, though, tomorrow to win that championship game.
Of course, yeah. That's what everybody's here for. Everybody's here for a couple different reasons. Everybody wants to get better, have an opportunity to continue their career, and hopefully move to affiliate ball. But obviously the underlying thing is always going to be winning a championship wherever you are. All these guys are competitive, so it is a little bit interesting at times to balance it, but everybody here for the most part, I can't tell you anybody that doesn't pull for everybody else. So it's a great atmosphere, and this point in the year, everybody wants to win the big one. So I want to see the guys do well and still have maybe a 1-0 game. We're not going to get there tonight, but just seeing these guys throughout the year work really hard and do whatever they could to improve their game, and they've all done really well this year.
0-2 to Pastor, and just clips it foul. And we'll get into this a little bit more in a few minutes, but you obviously the now former head coach of Madonna Baseball,
yep.
And you Taylor Jellikowski was an assistant for you there. You guys kind of flip roles here. He's the head manager. You're the assistant. You've been through a lot of baseball with him.
Yes. Yep.
Especially last year with the Mammoths, where you guys struggled through the year. Last place for a lot of it.
Yep.
You won as the 4 seed to get to the semifinals, eventually lost in that. The extra inning games last year was a whole storyline.
Yeah.
It's still a storyline this year. After all that you two have been through just in baseball, and especially here in the USPBL, how excited are you for tomorrow?
We're very excited, obviously. Taylor is a great guy, one of my best friends, so we've been through a lot. We've been through some ups and downs, and obviously at Madonna and then here as well from the last 3 years. So, to get from, we were in last place last year, like you mentioned, so to get, an opportunity tomorrow to go right to the championship game and face one of these teams that was our big focus in the offseason. Is we had a lot of really good players last year, and kind of similar to what I was saying earlier about the Unicorns, where it didn't seem like we ever just played a total team baseball game where sometimes we pitched really well, maybe we didn't hit as well. So we did some things in this offseason with the guys we brought in. We really prioritized infield defense. That was a spot last year where I thought we probably gave too many extra opportunities, too many extra outs, and that led to some losses. So we really prioritized that. And we've done, made a lot of phone calls, done a lot of research on guys, and tried to get the right players and then the right guys in the clubhouse. And our team is extremely loose. They like to have fun, but the second they get in between the white lines, they're really serious. So that's kind of the culture in the clubhouse that we really want to have amongst our teams. And we've got Jelly at the top, and he does a great job, installing that. So great group of guys.
The walk to Pastor loads the bases for Enriquez with 1 out. He takes a ball low. It's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, all the research that went into you guys building the roster this year, because we got here and everybody said, man, this is the best team that Jelly and Karn have built, and this is their best roster on paper. It didn't start that way at the start of the year, but then you guys lost some guys. Bischoff gets signed by the Twins. Florentino, Duncan Hewitt. As Enriquez lifts this one to shallow right, going back, Acevedo makes the catch. Nobody can tag. Acevedo quickly turns and fires it in directly to home plate. And a nice job to get the second out and leave the bases loaded. But I joked with Jelly at some point halfway through the year, you guys would lose a guy and get a guy who played affiliate ball, and lose a guy and get a guy who played affiliate ball, and just talent everywhere. You get Fox Liam out of the SEC. Very rarely see SEC guys in here. Liam's been one of the best power hitters all season long. Livingston Morris. You talk about Burl Dixon, Trey Williams-Nelson. I mean, names left and right. It's obvious that you guys put in that work, and it's got to feel good with a record well above 500 and sitting in first place.
It does, yeah. Everybody's story, how they came into the USPBL and then obviously the Woolly Mammoths, is a little bit different. Sometimes it's through, maybe we saw a guy like Patrick Mills last year. He played his final college season at Utah Valley State. But previous to that, he was at IU Kokomo. So Jelly and I actually coached against him, and we remembered him from there, and we followed him. And then there had been months of conversations with him to try to get him to come. So, we were fortunate when he decided to come out and play for us, and he's been a great addition about halfway through the year. So you could go one by one. We have 2 Madonna alums on our team, so that was, those were obviously guys that we had a lot of familiarity with. And everybody else is just, the stories are connections. Maybe one of the
somebody
guys
knows somebody everywhere.
Nick Lucky played with Fox Liam at Coastal Carolina. That's where Fox had started his career. He played his first 3 or 4 years there and grad transferred to Missouri. So he played with Nick Lucky. So Nick got released from a different league, and he was looking for an opportunity. And we had a spot open, and he made a quick impression that first game that he played. And he's done. He hit the ground running for us.
2-2 to bag it. With 2 outs, he lifts it to shortstop. Pup is under it, calling everybody off. Justin Karn, assistant manager for the Mammoths, sticking around for one more half inning to finish off the 4th. We'll be back after this. It's still 5-1 Unicorns on the USPBL Network.
Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great time at Jimmy John's Field experiencing another exciting baseball game. This ballpark is one of many quality of life recreational assets Macomb County has to offer. And as you leave here today, let me invite you to explore Macomb County's diverse range of outdoor assets by visiting MakeMacombYourHome.com. You'll find the Macomb County's trails are open year-long and available for walking, running, biking, as well as paddling along the Clinton River. In Macomb County, there is something for everyone. Find out more about Macomb County's 4 seasons of fun by visiting MakeMacombYourHome.com. Now let's play ball.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
So as we expected, finally, Jacob Harceny gets the call out of the bullpen. Tristan Harvin finishes with 3 complete innings, 1 run on 4 hits, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Assistant manager Justin Carn of the Westside Woolly Mammoths and pitching coordinator in the USPBL this year is joining us in the booth. And Justin, I mean, you have to give Harvin credit. That's probably around 100 pitches in the last 2 days. He's started all season long. He's not used to throwing 2 days in a row. We could see that he was laboring. The fastball velocity was low 80s toward the end, but he got through 3 innings with just 1 run, and he goes out with a 4-run lead. A lot of credit to him.
Gutsy performance, and this is lining up just exactly how Jim Essien had mapped it out before the game. So Harceny's coming in, and he's going to be expected to carry it probably through the 6th or through the 7th. So how he starts here is going to be indicative of how it's going to go. I think that's the way I've seen it with Jacob throughout the course of the year. If he's on, he's on, and he's pretty tough to hit.
Harceny will face the 8-9-1 in the bottom of the 4th, Hughes, Pup, and Acevedo. He's got 36 1/3 innings this year. First pitch is a strike to Whit Hughes. For Harceny, it's sinker, slider, changeup. That's the mix. A 4.46 ERA. Leads the Unicorns in fewest walks per 9 this season at right around 3. And that's really big coming out of the bullpen. Harceny's made a couple starts, 16 appearances, 4 starts. But for a reliever, especially in the playoffs, not walking guys seems to really be a key to success.
Yeah. You need them to earn it in this situation. So if you can pound the zone and let your defense work behind you, they have a good defense. So that's what he's excelled at throughout the course of the year, and that's what they're hoping to get out of him here.
Swing and a miss for Hughes, and quickly 4 pitches. Strikeout number 1. Harceny well on his way. If the first out is any indication. Strikeouts are up too, over 8 per 9. That's a good number. Doesn't get hit often and doesn't get hit hard. Opponents hitting .213 with only 2 home runs on the season for the Warren, Ohio native. First pitch to Alex Pup. Ooh. 2-seamer inside, and Pup just barely missed it. So we talked about it on the broadcast last night, and you obviously weren't here, but you and I talked about it before the game yesterday. Very exciting time for you and your family. Your wife, Lauren, accepting the job, leaving Oakland softball to join Maryland in the Big Ten. That news came out last week. You guys actually took the kids and went to Maryland to do the press conference and see the campus and stuff. That's, I mean, a crazy time, but exciting time for you it has to be right now.
Yeah, it all came together really quick too. So obviously a blessing for us, and something that my wife has worked extremely hard for, and as a family we've sacrificed a lot for. We're from the East Coast originally, so to be going back closer to family with 2 young kids, that's always been very important to us. So that the opportunity opened up and it came together so quick that, I don't think we totally processed it until we got there for the press conference on Tuesday, and they did an incredible job. They did it as you would think they would. They rolled out the red carpet, and everybody there is top notch. The campus is incredible. So just a blessing and a great opportunity for my wife and our family, and to be able to have our 2 young kids be closer to family is just a tremendous thing for us.
And that's why we referenced earlier you being the now former head coach of Madonna baseball. Obviously can't coach baseball from Maryland,
nope.
So picking up and obviously going with the rest of the family. Do you have plans for baseball stuff once you're over there?
I'm going to do everything I can to stay in it. My wife being in the athletics profession, she understands what it takes to make it in this profession, and I couldn't ask for somebody better, to share our life with. So we've, like I mentioned, we've both sacrificed a lot. We've traveled all over the country. We've moved all over the country. We've moved away from family. So, it's old hat for us. We're going to make it work the best that we can. So what that means, we're not quite sure yet, but she's a great support system for me.
Are you a fan of the red and yellow?
I'm going to be.
You got no choice.
I'm going to be. Yeah, they had a lot of stuff for both me and my wife and our kids, actually, when we got to the hotel room. So I've already started accumulating some gear. So, yeah.
Maryland's been a good program for many years in softball. Obviously, your wife, Lauren, had a lot of success at Oakland. I believe, and it was, correct me if I'm wrong, they won the Horizon.
This past year, they won the regular season. The previous year, they won the regular season and the tournament. I believe in her 5 full years. The COVID year would have been the 6th. I think they played for the championship in 4 of those years. So she did a really good job there. The program was kind of in the middle of the pack when she took it over, and there was a lot of talent there. And the girls bought into what my wife brought to the table, and it happened pretty quick, maybe quicker than she thought it would, in terms of competing for a championship in the Horizon League. And she was very fortunate to have really good people and good players around her, and they had a really good 6 years with her there. So, she's on to the University of Maryland here, as you mentioned. So they won 38 games last year, and there's a lot of momentum in the athletics program and the department. Really looking forward to it.
And she was Coach of the Year 1 or 2 years in the Horizon,
the past
right?
2 years, yeah. Yep.
Very impressive stuff. Acevedo on the 0-2 takes the ball outside. Pup walked on the full count. He's 1 for 1 with a double and a walk today. Acevedo 0 for 2 so far. Couple of contact outs. Now, I think I know the answer to this, but you being a baseball coach, your wife being a softball coach, from your observation, how different is it coaching the two sports?
There's definitely a lot of intricacies between the two that are different. I think the underlying mechanics or the underlying things that make teams successful are probably pretty similar, but the differences, especially with obviously the pitching motion from softball, produces maybe a little bit different spins in the way that the ball moves. So there's some different things there that need to be taught or adjusted as a hitter. In baseball, we might see that high vertical fastball, induced vertical break fastball that looks like it's rising.
Pup goes swing and a miss from Acevedo, no throw down. Strike him out, no throw him out. That's the second out of the inning.
So in baseball, while that pitch doesn't actually rise, it just looks like it does. In softball, they have a pitch that actually rises.
Yeah.
So that's certainly something different.
Difference.
Yeah. So yeah, there's obviously similarities because the games are similar and kind of built off each other, but the intricacies of it are probably a little bit different.
A little bit of a drizzle falling now here at Jimmy John's Field. We unfortunately have not had good weather so far on championship weekend.
No, kind of the story of the year, really.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. Last year, it didn't seem to rain all that much, and this year, come to the ballpark, and you're probably going to get drizzled on at some point. Every night, it's felt like.
It has been a very unusually rainy summer. Marcoux takes high. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Can't help but think this is a sleeping giant at the plate with how good he's been. I was playing the what-if game earlier. I don't like to play that game. But what if Noah Marcoux doesn't get hurt this year? And this guy who's got 25 games, what if he's got 45? You'd almost think an MVP candidate. From what we saw last year, getting here halfway through the year, and then what we've seen consistently this year, he's played in 25 games. He's reached base in 24 of them. This is one of the most fun hitters to watch.
He puts together really good at-bats consistently. Yep. He's a tough out. There's really no one way to get him out, and I think if you look across the league, any independent league, college baseball, probably even minor league baseball, there's kind of that scouting report on guys of, here's their weakness. If we can get to a certain point in the count, we can attack this. I don't really see that with Noah. He's able to cover the whole plate. He can cover different velocities and different spins and does a really good job of using the whole field. So there's not really that one way. I think you need to go through a game against him and really focus on not having a similar attack plan every single at-bat, because he's able to make really good adjustments even within an at-bat, which is a rare thing to see.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, Pup at second. And ball 4. A bit of a delayed reaction from Marcoux, and right on cue, he works a 2-out walk to keep this inning alive. He's at first, Pup's at second. Joe Burke comes to the plate. And I think one thing that I've noticed from Marcoux over the last season and a half is he's really good at facing a guy a second or third time. And not just over the course of a game, but over the course of a season. He learns and picks up on things. And when you look at how pitchers have done against certain teams this year, like we look at Ryan Carolden, who did really well against the Unicorns this year. But the more often you see a guy, it's always advantage hitter. The more often they can see a pitcher, and that's because the pitcher has to be more creative and find ways to get them out.
And we do talk about that a lot early in the season when guys are having success, on the pitching staffs for all 4 teams. Something that we try to talk about is that the league is a little bit different because there's 4 teams and you'll see these hitters so much. So when you get to about the All-Star break, maybe a week or 2 past it, you do need to make adjustments because even if you've had success against them early in the season, it's going to be their 25th, 30th at bat at some point against you. And if you keep going at them the same way, these hitters are good enough to make adjustments. And we've seen that with a couple guys who started out really good, and then maybe they had a little bit of a bad stretch, a bad start, or a bad appearance or 2, and they've had to make adjustments with maybe pitch more backwards early in the count, or some guys have even started to add more pitches or different pitches or alter their pitches. So it is something here that I think I saw it last year a little bit too, where the pitchers start out a little bit hotter until the hitters are able to adjust to it, and the pitchers need to be able to stay in front of that and make their adjustments before the hitters are able to adjust and get too comfortable off of them. And we saw that a little bit last night too. Huffman's, I think his last 3 or 4 starts had been against the Beavers, so he threw okay, but it wasn't a typical Andrew Huffman start from what we've seen this year.
Absolutely not, and this is not a typical Jacob Harsany outing. 2 strikeouts and 3 walks this inning, yet for a ball to be put in play, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs for a good hitter in Bryant Schellenbarger. Schellenbarger from the left side, and lefties are a little bit better than righties against Harsany. It's negligible, though. I think it's interesting, too, when we talk about how often hitters see pitchers. A lot of these players are here at the ballpark on days that they're not playing, and they're all baseball players. They're all still taking notes on, oh, this guy hit that fastball, or oh, that guy's slider looked really good that day, and that's all still going into their memory bank for the next time they go up.
If you look at a guy like Chris Davis, who was a co-MVP of the year, I think 4 of his 7 home runs were on first pitch fastballs to start the game, first pitch of the game, and he's a great hitter. But early in the game, he's watched guys and he's been ambushing fastballs early in the count. This is going to be a tough play in the rain.
Rain coming down, and Aberrett fights it off to make the catch and strand the bases loaded. It's getting a little wet here at Jimmy John's Field. Justin Carn, the assistant manager of the Woolly Mammoths. We'll see you tomorrow, but congratulations to you and your wife. Good luck and the best after this season. We appreciate you coming up here, and we're very excited to see how Maryland softball does moving forward.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll be back here on the USPBL Network. 5-1 Unicorns.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood
and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be.
Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games.
You know you want to.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Top of the 5th, Unicorns still hanging on to that 5-1 lead. Pierce Banks still on the mound. He relieved Ryan Carolden who faced 6 batters without recording an out in the third. Banks has faced 9, giving up only 1 hit but 4 walks already. He did walk in a run. That run was charged to Carolden, though. And the Hoppers stranding the bases loaded last inning. Can't help but feel like that's a momentum shifter in this game. Harsney with an uncharacteristic 3 walks in the inning. They don't do any damage. It'll be Curiel followed by Gooden and Matulia as Donovan's behind, no balls and 2 strikes. We appreciate Justin Karn, the assistant manager for the Mammoths, as Curiel steps out and takes time. Joining us in the 4th. Always good to talk to the people in this league who make it happen and are involved in the decision making and the coaching of these teams. The 0-2 to short. Pup throws out Curiel by a couple steps. The first out in the 5th. 6-3 the putout. Karn's been here the last 2 years at Jimmy John's Field working with the USPBL with the pitchers and the Mammoths. Lucas Gooden, 4th time tonight already here in the 5th. Batted twice in that 3rd inning when they sent 11 to the plate. He's 1 for 3 total. Started off the rally in the 3rd with a single. The 1-1. And another ground ball single to right field. Hoppers beware. That's what started the rally in the 3rd. Just like that. Very similar play. And Lucas Gooden has his 2nd hit tonight. He keeps hitting in these playoffs. Now 5 in the last 2 games. Brings up Phil Matulia. 1 for 3 tonight with a double. Initial offering is a fastball outside from Banks. Pierce in his minor league career, opponents hit 286 against him with a 792 OPS. Those are decent numbers for the minor leagues. But ultimately the Twins decided to go a different direction. In just a few at-bats, 21 to be exact. Opponents in the USPBL hitting 190 against him this year. That's before tonight. Since he came on in the 3rd, he's given up 2 hits. Just singles. Obviously the 1 to Good in this inning, 1 to Weber in the 4th. The 1-1 to Matulia. Curveball up. Likes to use that curveball a lot. And with his delivery, I think it makes it more susceptible to being left up the way he has tonight. Comes way over the top. You can see it. A big hammer delivery. And when that curveball is on, boy, is it on. And there it is right there. Whew. 2-2. A glow-in-the-dark pretzel. Where else do you see that but Jimmy John's Field? We always appreciate you watching on the broadcast. 2-2 fouled away. But if you're local and can, come to the ballpark tomorrow. What else are you doing on a Saturday night at 6 o'clock? Right now, if this result holds, it'll be Unicorns and Mammoths. Certainly this game is far from over. 2-2. Opposite way foul. Matulia one of many in his family who have made it to the professional level in this game. He's got two cousins, Matt and Joseph, that played in the Chicago Cubs and Tampa Bay Rays organizations in the minors, respectively. Not professionally, but still at a high level. His dad, brother, and uncle all played college baseball. That dinner table has to be full of hilarious and competitive baseball stories, I'd imagine. There's few better stories if you just go by sport than baseball stories. They've got the wackiest ones, both on the field, off the field, in the clubhouse, no matter where. Family like that, they've got plenty of baseball stories. 2-2, nubbed foul. Lands its first bounce behind the white line before it trickles across. That's 4 two-strike fouls for Matulia. He's seen 8 pitches in this at-bat. The next one will be number 9. Everett would be next. The 2-2. Guess what? Foul. Matulia won't go away easily. Pierce Banks has to be getting annoyed now. 5 runs on 8 hits, no errors for the Unicorns. 1 run on 4 hits, no miscues for the Hoppers. It's been a clean game defensively. One more time on the 2-2, and it's ball 3. I think Matulia might have thought it was ball 4 the way he looked back to get a reaction from the dugout. Still got one more pitch. That's Luke Drummond over in the Hoppers' pen. Not sure when we'll see him. Obviously, Banks would like to get out of this 5th. Payoff pitch. And ball 4. Matulia stares down his dugout. He hits 5 two-strike fouls after being behind in the count and works the 5th walk out of the arm of Pierce Banks. There's now 2 on and only 1 out here in the 5th. If you're a regular in this league, you know how big those walks are. Runner goes, throw it on to third from Hughes, not in time, safe. Gooden got a great jump, stole that bag off of Banks. Number 6 on the year for the first baseman. Runners on the corners now. Double play still on, but Gooden can score on anything in the outfield off the bat of Aberrett. Swing and a miss. Pitch was in for a strike, so it's 0-2. Matulia's got speed over at first. Wouldn't be surprised to see him running. On a possible throwaway pitch as well, 0-2. He's got the glove on, and Banks is aware of it. Works him back to the bag. And Matulia goes. Aberrett hits it out into center field. Flores racing back over to his right. Catches it just shy of the warning track. And the steal for Lucas Gooden works. He scores on the sac fly. Matulia moves back to first, so they won't double him up. A 1-out sac fly for Felix Aberrett, his 3rd RBI of the night. How about Lucas Gooden, the heads-up steal of 3rd. He comes around to score. Now Josh Baker's turn. Ryan Cockey has seen enough. Banks is done. It'll be Luke Drummond, probably earlier than Cockey wanted, with 2 outs in the 5th. Pitching change. We'll be back after this on the US PBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood
and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be.
Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games.
You know you want to.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
2 2/3 innings for Pierce Banks. Gives up 2 hits, does surrender 1 earned run, but the biggest issue of them all is 5 walks. Did get 3 strikeouts, but now it will be Luke Drummond out of the bullpen for the Hoppers. Drummond has been consistently good all year long. Nothing like some solitaire, I think. Maybe Omaha poker in between pitching changes. Drummond, 3.92 ERA in 41-plus innings this year, leads the Hoppers with 54 strikeouts. He's also got the best K per 9 rate, nearing 12. A couple starts this year. They tried him out as a starter earlier in the year. It worked pretty well, but he only made 4 starts in total towards the end of the season, really primarily just out of the bullpen, as the Hoppers were pretty much set with starters. Brett Irwin would start, Ryan Carolden, James Cole made 9 starts as well. So Drummond kind of went back to where he was last year out of the pen. Last season with these Hoppers, 22 appearances, all of them in relief. ERA's gotten better from a season ago. Strikeouts have gotten better. Walks have increased a little bit. Went from around 3 per 9 to closer to 5 this year. Baker lifts one to deep left. Califoot going back, but he's under it. And just what the Hoppers wanted. 1 pitch from Luke Drummond, and he's out of the 5th. 5-1. Unicorns still lead it. Hoppers batting in the 5th when we come back on the U.S. PBL Network.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Fifth Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing. 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. Like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early. Giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees. And helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's, $5 off orders of 20 or more.
(6-1) Unicorns. Lucas Gooden scoring on the sac fly from Felix Aberrett last inning. They lead it as we're here in the bottom of the 5th. Jacob Harsany had the bases loaded after 3 walks last inning, but no damage was done. Got out of it with a pop out to Bryant Schellenbarger with the rain coming down. It's still a light drizzle, but not as bad as it was last time. Califoot, Flores, and Maddox, 5, 6, and 7, these scheduled hitters for the Hoppers here in the 5th. Needing some offense. Haven't gotten any since the leadoff solo shot from Anthony Flores in the 2nd. Califoot takes a strike. Harsanyi did not have an easy outing last time he faced these Hoppers. That was in Game 1 of the doubleheader, with a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 6th. A reminder, our doubleheaders here are 6 innings, so the last inning. Harsanyi's outing went walk, single, hit batter, ground out, intentional walk, and then Joe Burke worked a walk-off walk as Califoot strikes out on 3. That's the 3rd for Harsanyi and the 1st out in the 5th. But Burke worked the walk-off walk and won that game. Game better. And this time, Flores shows bunt, pulls out. We've only had 2 home runs in these playoffs, one from Aberrett, one from Flores. Curveball in for a strike, 1-1. Swing and a miss at the slider. Had Flores guessing, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Maddox would be next. He's grounded out twice. Unicorns bullpen is quiet. So is the Hoppers. It's going to be a while before they get anybody up. Drummond just threw 1 pitch to get out of the 5th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Harsanyi just ate up Anthony Flores in that at-bat. The sliders 3 in a row, all for strikes. Back-to-back Ks to start the 5th. 1 looking, 1 swinging. Have to feel like this Hoppers offense is going. Successful in the play, and the Unicorns have, despite a fantastic job out of the in these games. Automatic swing and a miss. Another slider right through it. Maddox this season, a pair of home runs, an OPS just above 700, batting average around 220. And that one, sinker dips in for a strike. You could see the late arm side movement. Tough pitch to hit for a righty. Put a bat on that, it feels like a bowling ball. 2-2 fouled back. Maddox will see another. Still nobody going to the bench yet. Could expect that later in this game. Maddox puts it on the ground. Baggett fields and fires as he always does. Smoothly, and a 1-2-3 smooth inning for Jacob Harsanyi in the 5th. We move on to the 6th. It's still 6-1 Unicorns here in the USPBL Network.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money. But that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. If you would like to commemorate the 2023 season, you can by ordering a custom USPBL jersey. You want your name, your number, whatever size, go to uspbl.com/products/jerseys to order your custom jersey today. Men's and women's youth extra small up to 5XL, many colors. Purchase them before September 20th and your item can be picked up or shipped in approximately 4 weeks by the end of October. Again, uspbl.com/products/jerseys to get your custom jersey today. Top of the 6th. Weber, Pastor, Enriquez, 5, 6, and 7 due up against Luke Drummond, who only needed one pitch to get out of the last inning. First pitch, this one is a foul ball to the left side, and we were joined earlier by the assistant manager of the Westside Woolly Mammoths, the #1 seed in these playoffs, Justin Karn, and we're joined now by the head manager, Taylor Jellikowski. Jelly, thank you so much for joining us. This one's to short, throw over to first.
Appreciate you having me.
He's a defensive player of the year for a reason, huh?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Easy 6'3", and maybe put a star next to it for the first out as now Pastor is up. So, one thing I asked Karn was everything that you two have been through managing together, both at Madonna, now here, everything last season in the USPBL. You obviously played here and now manage here, but you a lot of baseball together. With all of that has gone on, you have to be very excited for tomorrow.
Oh, fired up. Couldn't be more fired up, and to be able to do it with him by my side. I mean, he's gone from a colleague to one of my best friends now, and it's actually funny. He's been in baseball a lot longer than I have, and now he's working under me. But now he's a baseball mind I wouldn't want to coach a team without.
2-0 to Pastor. 2-1 now. And so what has this week been like for you? I mean, you haven't been in this position before as a manager, dealing with 8 days off. Your last game was Friday. So this is the 7th day off once you get to tomorrow. Pastor deep to center field. Flores racing over. He is not going to get there. It's over his glove. Pastor falls on his way to second. Triples territory with his speed, but he'll just stand up, coasting to a one-out double. Anthony Flores plays a strong center field, but nothing you can do when it's hit that hard. Nick Pastor 3 for 3 with a walk tonight. Big night for him. So this week for you has been weird, interesting, fun, nerve-wracking?
Really weird.
Yeah.
We've practiced the last 3 days. I'm actually the head coach at Macomb Community College, and we've tried to take advantage of being out on a field and being together with everything. We did live at-bats on Wednesday, so pitchers got to touch the mound a little bit and got a couple of ABs. But for the most part, we've just been trying to stay locked in, make sure we got to get all our feels out, and we're in a good spot for tomorrow.
I talked to Dre Williams-Nelson, your, I guess you'd call him a utility player. He's played a little bit of infield and outfield. Came in as an infielder, has since gone more to the outfield. Talked to him yesterday about those live at-bats that you guys did. Ducking out of the way of a curveball was Enriquez, 1-1. And he said I thought it was interesting what he brought up, how you don't get to see your own guys at all this year, obviously. And so, when you go up there and you face Jonathan Habb and Garrett Martin, and you realize why those guys are as good as they have been all year. I just thought that was pretty unique and kind of a cool experience maybe for your guys, too, to get to face each other.
No doubt. And it was a grittier moment for our team, too. It was actually pouring rain, and we just kind of played through it. Nobody said a word, and we just went about our business. We weren't going to give up the opportunity to get better that day, and it was a pretty gritty experience. It was cool.
Playing through the rain, maybe a little bit of practice. We just talked about that with Karn, just how rainy this summer has been. We obviously just had it come down an inning ago here for, 10 minutes? And that's pretty typical for Michigan weather.
Yeah, hopefully it stays away tomorrow.
We could use a good weather day for the championship.
We really could.
Pastor dancing off of second base. He's going to go for third. He got a good jump. Ground ball to third, and now he takes a big round turn around the bag, and he's tagged out.
Nice play, Maddox.
Todd Maddox with a heads-up play. Pastor trying to get a little bit out in front with the base running. Maybe with a 5-run lead, that's not as big of a mistake as it might look like. You're a guy that loves to have an aggressive team on the base path. The Unicorns really haven't been that way this year, but they've turned it up a little bit in these playoffs.
That's Pat Adams in the third base coaching box right now. That's his style, hard-nosed. He's going to figure out a way to score runs, whether any of us like it or not.
Adams, the new assistant manager of the Unicorns since Nick Caruso, former Mammoth with you and former assistant manager for the Unicorns, has moved on to become an assistant coach at Ball State University in the MAC. Nick's down there now. He's going to be here tomorrow.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Watching the Mammoths.
One of my best friends, so I'm excited to see him for a couple days or however long he's here. I'll take advantage of anything I can.
Good block by Hughes as Baggett batting from the left side. The switch hitter just got out of the way of a spiked curveball. So Enriquez is safe at first on the fielder's choice. Fielder's choice U5, is that how you would score that? Unassisted?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, definitely a weird one in the scorebook.
Baggett 0 for 1 with 2 walks tonight. Sharply to third and right into the glove of Todd Maddox. A couple nice plays at the hot corner for the third baseman. And it's still 6-1. Unicorns don't get anything in the top of the sixth. Hoppers batting when we come back. David Jellikowski, manager for the Mammoths, playing tomorrow, seeing who he's going to face on the USPBL Network.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier health care and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Unicorns and Hoppers 6-1 in favor of the 4-seeded Unicorns. Here in the bottom of the sixth, Hughes, Pup, and Acevedo due up. Still Jacob Arseny on the mound. He cruised through the fifth with a pair of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning. David Jellikowski, manager of the Mammoths, is up here with us. And Jelly, I mean, you've obviously been watching intently, maybe a little bit less last night with the Lions playing, but watching intently of these two playoff games to see who you're going to face. What's your, I mean, just give me the breakdown of both of these teams right now.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm trying not to worry about either of them. I'm trying to just kind of make sure we do what we've been doing all year and keep doing it the right way. I think if we face anyone in the 3-4 game, they're going to have a little bit less on the mound when the championship comes around. So,
right.
And the Hoppers, we've played pretty strong the whole year. So I'm really trying not to worry about this game too much, but it's not in my nature.
There's been a couple teams in league history that have gone from the Friday game, which it used to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now we've moved it up a day to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But who have gone from the 3-4 game to the championship. Nobody's ever won it since there have been 4 teams in the league. Whit Hughes strikes out on 3 nasty pitches. 5th strikeout for Arseny. But, I mean, good pitching is what wins in these playoffs. And when you can couple that with a good offense, which you guys have the best offense, 5 runs per game, the only team with that mark in the 5s, and you've got all your pitchers rested. I mean, you and I talked about it, you know, during the break, though. All you can do is make moves. It's still up to those guys, and that's really who you're kind of excited and nervous for at the same time.
Absolutely. I just want them to have a good, genuine experience here, and it's been a good one so far, and I just really want to make sure that they can continue and capitalize on this opportunity.
Pup checks his swing, went too far. What do you remember as a player playing in this league once we get to the late stages of the season and the playoffs?
Yeah, so I hate to say it like this, but I only played 29 games here, so I was signed.
So you were never really there until when it got to the thick of it.
Yeah, it was the end of July, and I was out of here.
With the Minnesota Twins, where many of your players have gone on to. That's got to be a proud moment for you.
Those are the coolest conversations I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
That's what I live for.
3 this year. Francis Florentino, the right fielder, Duncan Hewitt, the catcher, and Kyle Bischoff, the starting pitcher. Inside on the 1-2 to Pup, 2 balls, 2 strikes. You even went down there to watch Bischoff pitch, visit him for his birthday.
Yeah, so he was actually my pitching coach at Macomb Community College last year, so him and I have gotten very close, and he's one of my absolute best friends. So being able to tell one of your best friends that their childhood dream came true, I'm about to get choked up saying it, but it was easily the highlight of my year.
Pup,
Kyle, I know you're watching.
He'll frequently come in. He hasn't done it in a while. He'll frequently come into the YouTube stream on a game when the Mammoths are not playing and comment "Roll Mamos." And I've been waiting to call him out for it, and he hasn't done it in a while. Pup with a good swing to the gap, but Pastor's got all the speed you need in center field to get there. F8 for the second out. You went down there with your wife, Sarah, who was here tonight with your brand new son, Lee. How old is he now? 10 months. Time. The one, 2 ball strikes.
The face is coolest thing in the world.
What's your favorite thing to do with him?
Try to get him to laugh.
Yeah.
I pick him up and I just like kiss his belly, or like give him like a kiss on the belly, I guess, and he'll smile every time. It is the coolest thing in the entire world.
But he was starting to feel it a little bit before you came up here. He was getting tired.
Oh yeah, he cashed out around the second inning, and then my wife took him home.
And Acevedo gets pulled back for a strike. I mean, there's got to be some baseball in his blood, right?
I hope, but I'm not pushing it.
When do you give him his first baseball?
Oh, he's already got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already got one. He's got a little play bat, little blue play bat, and I make sure I put it in his hands left-handed. But he's, like I said, I'm not pushing anything. Whatever he wants to do, he's gonna do.
So starting him early lefty.
Oh yeah, you have to. If you don't teach him young,
that's smart.
He'll be a righty.
A walk to Luis Acevedo, and breaking news from the YouTube stream. Kyle Bischoff, roll Mamos in the comments section.
It's my guy.
In a non-Mammoths game. Mammoths will play tomorrow against the Unicorns or the Hoppers, winner of this game. And right now, it's the Unicorns. Six runs on 9 hits for the Unicorns, 1 run on 4 hits for the Hoppers. Good move back to first, but Acevedo gets back in safely. It's been a clean game defensively. That was something that Karn just mentioned that you guys stressed when building this roster this year, especially on the infield defense. And you guys have a really good infield defense this year, an athletic one too that can make a lot of plays.
Absolutely, yeah. That was a big thing we wanted to stress this year, is clean defense up the middle. That's what's going to win you a game that you don't expect to win. So that was something we really tried to hammer, and Trevor Austin and Colby Seltzer have been money since they've arrived.
0-2 on Marcoux, another move back to first. Noah Marcoux tonight 0 for 2 with a walk, struck out back in the second, popped out in the first. Acevedo would speed off of first, the 0-2 fouled away. I thought it was really interesting this year. A rough start for you guys. I think last place through a couple games, and obviously early in the year the standings don't matter much, but you had a conversation with your hitters, which I recognize is something that doesn't happen often, before a game. And I asked you about it, and you said, I'm tired of being the best team on paper and not the best team in the standings. What changed? Because ever since then, you guys have rallied, and you're well above 500. I believe it's 9 games and in first place. What changed after that conversation with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not relaxed in the box, it's over. You've already lost. So that was the main key. Like, I just told them to control their heart rate. They're here for a reason. Like, I saw them hit prior to being here. Oh boy.
Acevedo went on the pitch and Marcoux smoked it, but foul.
Yeah, the main thing is in pro ball, everyone's scared to get cut. Like, I was guilty of it myself. Everyone's scared to get cut, so the more I could take off of their plate mentally, it was going to be better for them, and it ended up working out on paper.
Marcoux waiting on the 1-2. Here it is as the rain comes down. Back door, and that's outside on the slider from Harsany. 2-2. Tough to get this guy out. Acevedo went on the last 1-2, dancing off of first, doesn't go this time. 2-2, that's to the gap, and right over the glove of Donovan Curiel. Acevedo will hold at second. That run doesn't matter too much as the Hopper is still down 5. They just need as many base runners as they can accumulate. See if they can spark a 2-out rally here in the 6th.
This is definitely the guy that the Unicorns wanted to avoid.
Joe Burke with 3 walks tonight. He's itching to put a ball in play. Just know it.
We'll just know if he plays us tomorrow, he's going to have another 3.
Tough guy to pitch to, huh?
No doubt. No doubt. He's killed us the last 2 years in the regular season.
Swings and misses at the first pitch slider. That's one thing Joe actually talked about before the start of this season. One goal he had was to have more walks than strikeouts, and he actually hasn't reached that goal, but he's been so much better with his plate discipline and his eye. As this gets away from Enriquez, both runners advance and no more force play for the Unicorns.
Yeah, Joe had a weirder mindset last year. He came in and every team was just flipping him. Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball.
Yeah, he never saw a fastball.
If you walk him, you walk him. That was everybody's mentality with it, and Joe was getting pretty frustrated. Like, am I ever going to see a fastball? And he's finally made the adjustment this year where he's not afraid to go get a breaking ball.
Tips that one back, 1-2. Another off speed at 83.
Yeah, he's upset about that one. He's not going to get that one back.
Joe last year, too, was one of the most unlucky players I think we've seen in a season. He had a couple home runs robbed, a couple hard line drives robbed of hits as well. The 1-2
makes me
foul ball.
Bring up Nick Caruso again.
Yeah,
hard hit percentage was the highest in the league, and
yep, his BABIP was my favorite stat to mention during broadcasts last year. And then he turned it around at the end of the year, and those line drives were dropping. That's usually how usually the way it goes.
No doubt. 2 homers in the playoffs too.
Yep. 1-2, swing and a miss. Harsany gets a big strikeout. The Hoppers strand 2 more big runners. They've left 11 on the base paths tonight. Taylor Jellikowski, manager for the Mammoths, we appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow on the broadcast pregame, but thanks for coming up here during the 6th. It's always fun talking to you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Pleasure. Sounds good.
Thank you. Back here on the USPBL Network in just a moment. Top 7, 6-1, Unicorns over the Hoppers, and the Hoppers have to be feeling it a little bit. Strand 2 runners in the 3rd, strand the bases loaded in the 4th, and then again last inning. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and Jacob Harsany and the Unicorns get out of it as he strikes out Joe Burke, his 6th strikeout since coming on in the 4th inning. we cannot talk enough about how good this Unicorns pitching has been. It continues to be that way. Still Luke Drummond for the Hoppers. Top of the 7th. He's facing 9-1-2. Curiel lifts this one to right field. Under it is Schellenbarger. 1 pitch and 1 out. So behind Curiel, Gooden, and Matulia, a pair of lefties. Donovan Curiel with that fly out 0 for 4 tonight with a pair of strikeouts. Gooden's had a good night. 2 for 4, 2 runs scored. Reached and scored after both of his identical singles on the ground to right field, and Acevedo shading that way a little bit more in this at-bat. After that right side of the infield, Burke and Acevedo have gotten beat twice already tonight by Gooden. Curveball missing. For Drummond, it's both fastballs plus a slider, curve, and split changeup that he doesn't throw too often. The 1-1. Curveball, strike. One, two. On the ground to the left side this time. Pup sliding back, can't stop. Pop-up throw, but it pulls Burke off the bag. Great effort by Alex Pup. Gooden's got enough speed to make that a tough play no matter what. And he reaches on an infield single, the 10th hit of the night for the Unicorns. Gooden's 3rd. 3 singles, all on the ground. 2 to the right field gap. Excuse me, the gap on the right side of the infield, and 1 to short. Lucas Gooden still swinging the bat well, no matter which way you slice it up. Outside, 1-0. Again, if you just missed it, Taylor Jellikowski of the Westside Woolly Mammoths, their manager, was just up here for us in the 6th inning. We appreciate him joining us. You can see him tomorrow. We're going to have a pregame interview with him and whoever his opposing manager is on the other side. That remains to be determined. Right now, it looks like it might be Jim Essien if the Unicorns can hang on to this 5-run lead. We know it's not safe just yet. Gooden goes on the 1-1. Inside, it gets away from Hughes. Gooden slides in. He didn't know it got away. Might have even been able to get to 3rd, but it's a stolen base for Lucas Gooden. 2nd this game and 7th of the year. And again, talking about interviewing manager Taylor Jellikowski tomorrow. We're live on the air at 5:15 for a 6:05 first pitch. Earlier first pitch, earlier pregame. We do it big for Championship Saturday. Back up the middle, Matulia softly, and Pup is there. Died off the end of the bat, and Gooden has to hold it 2nd. That's the 2nd out. Felix Aberrett, a little bit of everything. Strikeout, single, walk, sac fly tonight. 1 for 3 total. 3 RBIs in the game. 2 runs came around on his 3rd inning single, and then obviously an RBI is attached to the sac fly in the 5th. Gooden goes again to 3rd. A huge jump. He's in there standing up with his 3rd stolen base of the night. He was 3/4 of the way to 3rd before that pitch got to home plate. He is reading Luke Drummond very well right now. The pitch was in for a strike. Aberrett took it all the way, letting his man get to 3rd. And it gets away, a high bounce, 40 feet in the air. Hughes has no clue where it is, and Gooden trots home easily. More insurance for the Unicorns. It's 7-1. Stolen base, wild pitch brings Gooden around. And a crooked number in the 7th for the Unicorns. 2 balls and a strike on Felix Abaret. Now with nobody on and 2 outs. Inside 3-1. Felix, a soon-to-be father. He and his wife announced on social media this week that they are expecting their first child in December. Exciting times for him as he finishes up his 3rd season in the USPBL. Takes a strike high, 3-2. A lot of young lives changing here in this league. We mentioned Justin Karn and his wife Lauren, their 3 kids taking the job at Maryland. Taylor Jellikowski just had his first son. Felix Abaret's on there. Strike 3 called. Thought it was ball 4. The low fastball sends Abaret to the dugout instead of first base. That's the first strikeout for Luke Drummond since coming on in the 5th. He gets Abaret looking for the 3rd out. 7th inning stretch time. Unicorns up 7-1. Hoppers need some offense. 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game. Brought to you by Genesis Credit Union. We'll be back after this.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Bottom 7th. Getting to crunch time here in our semifinal matchup between the Hoppers and the Unicorns. The Unicorns, improbable to get to this point on the regular season, 17-26, winning just 2 of their last 15 games. But they've won 2 straight. Looking at number 3 right now with a 6-run lead in the bottom of the 7th. Again, we've had a winner of the 3-4 matchup make it to the championship game. We've never had a 3 or 4 seed win since 4 teams were in the USPBL starting in 2017. The winner in 2016, these Unicorns, won that as the 3 seed, but that was when it was just 3 teams they had to beat. The Beavers in game 1, and then the Hoppers, the 1 seed, in the 2nd game. Schellenbarger takes 2 outside the zone. 2 balls, no strikes. Behind Schellenbarger, it's Califoot and Flores. Lefty, lefty, righty here in the 7th against the righty, Jacob Harsany. Schellenbarger in the air to left, foul, and not enough room as it gets out of play for the 3rd baseman, Weber. Still no substitutions on either side yet. Not sure if we'll see any in a 6-run game. Should it get closer, we might see some more pinch-hitting situations. Ryan Kottke, we talked about it, is managing this like a regular game. Outside 3-1. Except that it's not a regular game, and it's win or go home. So that might change a little bit as we play these last 3 innings. Schellenbarger pops it up on the 3-1, spikes the bat in frustration. Baggett is under it and makes the catch. First out in the 7th. Hoppers running out of opportunities, just 8 outs left. Seventh inning brought to you by Pepsi on the USPBL Network. Califoot's 1 for 3. Had a double in the third. That double back in the third seemed like it might have been a spark for the Hoppers, who were down 5-1 at the time after giving up 5 runs in the second. And instead, Tristan Harvin, in his last 2 batters, went strikeout, ground out to get out of that inning with 2 in scoring position. Califoot's double sent Burke to third. That was how Harvin ended his day, and it couldn't have been better. Jacob Harson, he came on in the 4th, has stayed on since. He's a strike away from the second out here in the 7th. This game has gone exactly according to plan for Jim Essien. A big offensive boost that they haven't had all year long. And that hit Califoot off his knee. He'll head down to first. He is the first hit batter of the night. And after being ahead 1-2, that could be a big base runner. Now it'll be Flores. Califoot tries to walk it off. This is a Unicorns team who averaged less than 4 runs per game on offense. League worst, 3.5 runs per game. And in these playoffs, they're averaging 7 per game. 8 yesterday, 7 today. Flores swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Right side, Gooden will call off Curiel. 1 pitch and the second out. Couple of big pop outs this inning for the Unicorns. Harson works the middle of the rubber, turns and fires a foul ball off the bat of Maddox, strike 1. Only run tonight for the Hoppers came from the last guy that just got out, Anthony Flores, a solo home run in the second to open the scoring. It's been nothing since. They've only had 3 hits since then. A couple of doubles and a single from Noah Marcoux that haven't done any damage. They've had plenty of base runners. Since the Flores home run, it's been 6 walks that the Hoppers have accumulated. Four of those walks have gotten to third base and been left there to end the inning. 2-1, Califoot at first. Swing and a miss. Slider got him. 2-2. Maddox, the 25-year-old out of Winsboro, South Carolina. Really good college numbers at Francis Marion in the Peach Belt in South Carolina. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Slider again. Way out in front. Harsony. Strikeout number 7 ends the 7th. He's been cooking since he came on in relief in the 4th. 4 fantastic innings, and his team still in front 7-1 as we head to the 8th.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
It's Nick Galatas on the mound for the Hoppers in the 8th. Luke Drummond is done after 2 1/3 innings of relief. Only gave up 2 hits. Did give up a run after Lucas Gooden manufactured one himself. Singled in the 7th, stole 2nd, stole 3rd a couple pitches later, and then scored on a wild pitch to make it a 7-1 game. Galatas started his USBBL career with the Unicorns. And then after 7 appearances, switched over to the Hoppers. He's got 13 outings total, a trio of starts. The rest have been in relief. In total, his ERA above 9 this year. Walks and strikeouts even at 24 apiece. Those numbers have improved since he switched over to the Hoppers, a couple more strikeouts than walks, but still not where you would necessarily want them to be, and they need a big 8th inning out of him, and maybe even 9th, as the bullpen is empty right now. Baker, the first batter. Behind him, Weber and Pastor, the 0-1. On the ground to Acevedo at second, a high hop, and then dives into his glove between his legs. 4-3 the putout for the first out. Galatas, the 4th pitcher the Hoppers have used tonight. Started with Ryan Carolden, who only went 2 innings. Struck out 3, but also walked 3. The most important numbers, 5 runs on 6 hits. All of them earned. First pitch to Weber, spiked. Galatas, 4-seam, 2-seam, changeup, slider, curveball. That last one, the slider. In on the hands and fouled, 1-1. Weber is 1 for 3. Walked and scored in the 3rd. His single came in the 4th. The 1-1. In the air to shallow center. Pup going back. Flores won't make it in time, so it will be Pup. Quickly 2 outs, exactly what the Hoppers needed. Nick Pastor has done plenty of damage tonight. His 4 plate appearances in order read single, 2-run single, walk, double. They've yet to get this guy out. Takes a pitch outside. Nick's been one of the leaders all year long for the Unicorns, both in the statistical categories and in the locker room, and he just easily lines one to right for his 4th hit of the night. Leads the Unicorns in stolen bases, 17 on the year, 1 tonight. And now there's more trouble with 2 outs over at first. Really impressive to see the philosophy change for these Unicorns in the playoffs. Barely ran the bases at all season long. And they've been so aggressive. There goes Pastor. Galatas doesn't even see him, and nobody's covering second. We just talked about it, and Pastor just takes off earlier than he meant to, but Galatas had no clue. So with Pastor now at second, the first pitch to Ramon Enriquez is a strike. Stolen base number 18 for Pastor this year. He's only been caught 3 times. The 0-1. In the dirt and picked by Taj Porter, who's taking over for Whit Hughes as a defensive substitution. Porter will bat to lead off the 8th for the Hoppers. So we mentioned not much action on the bench yet. Now that starts to change as we get to the late stages. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Switch hitter Baggett would be next. Opponents have hit Galatas pretty well this year. 4 home runs, a .283 average. inside 3-1, especially the lefties. That's where Baggett's going to bat from if he gets up. 12 for 40, 300 this season. Pastor, big lead off a second. Acevedo close to the bag up the middle. Galatas checks him, now delivers the 3-1. And ball 4. Not really a competitive at-bat from Nick Galatas, especially with the steal from Pastor mixed in, and still trouble in the 8th. The only inning in this game in which the Unicorns haven't had a base runner, the first inning when Ryan Carolden breezed through Gooden, Matulia, and Aberrett. Fly out, ground out, strikeout. Through the legs of Galatas. Pup will pick it up at second and just step on the bag easily. The 2 runners this inning don't do any damage. Now we head to the bottom of the 8th. Hoppers running out of life, down by 6. They need a rally. It starts with Taj Porter in the 8th when we come back.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be. Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
The old adage is pitching wins in the playoffs. Boy, had the Unicorns gotten some pitching tonight. Jacob Harsney came on in the 4th in relief of Tristan Harvin, who didn't have much left in the fuel tank, but whatever he used was enough. Harsney then went 4 innings of shutout, 1-hit baseball. He did walk 4 batters, but conversely struck out 7. And Jace Bauman gets the call in the 8th. Very impressed with the Unicorns pitching tonight. It's a staff that Justin Karn mentioned. He's worked with them, and they were really good at the start of the year, stumbled a little bit through the middle, and they've turned it on in the late stages and especially in these playoffs. Taj Porter, the defensive substitution for Whit Hughes, now batting for the first time in these playoffs. Takes a ball. Bauman pitched last night through 1 scoreless inning with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. Swing and a miss. Taj, a switch hitter, batting from the left side against the righty. Most of his at-bats come from that left side. He's only had 8 against right-handed hitters. Excuse me, only 8 against left-handed pitchers. 67 against right-handers. 254 average for Taj from the right side. Two and 1. Fouled straight back to the screen. 2-2. Bauman on the year. 6.82 ERA in the regular season. Does lead the Unicorns with 5 saves. Opponents hitting .275 against him. Here's the 2-2. Skips its way up to home plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's ball 4. Leadoff walks. They will kill you, and the Hoppers have a chance to make it pay. Bauman walks his first batter. Eighth walk of the night for Unicorns pitching. The Hoppers have walked 9 on the other side. In for a strike to Pup. Pup 1 for 2, doubled in the second, walked in the fourth, flew out in the sixth. Fouls that one away, out of play, over to the right side, 0-2. Porter, not a base stealing threat. Gooden not even holding him on. His run doesn't really matter right now. Hoppers in need of a few more base runners. The 0-2. And on the hands, a little nubber to first. Gooden will pick it up. He has no play at second. He'll easily step on the bag himself. And Pup is out. (7-1) in the bottom of the 8th. Hoppers need some help. Can Acevedo provide it as the lineup turns over? Porter in scoring position, went down to second on the Pup ground out. Fouls it straight back. Acevedo still looking for his first hit of the night. Grounded out and lined out in the first and second. Struck out in the fourth and then walked in the sixth. For Bauman, it's 5 pitches. 4-seam and 2-seam fastball, changeup, curveball, slider. Relatively standard mix. The 1-1. Skied foul, out of play to the right. 1-2. One-two, high in the air to left. Baker over to his left. And that's an easy catch. It's no longer Josh Baker either. That's Seth Gurgley, the defensive substitution. Everyone else remains the same. Gurgley got the pinch hit call last night late in the game for the Unicorns. Contributed with a sac fly in the 8th to participate in the comeback. 2 down now for Marcoux. Mentioned it earlier, Hoppers have stranded 12 runners in scoring position. Excuse me, 12 runners tonight in total. 9 of them have been in scoring position. A pretty remarkable number for a team that's been good all year long in that category. Second best team in the league at hitting with runners in scoring position. Just not tonight. The 1-1. Dips under the zone with a slider. 2-1. Marcoux got his first hit back in the 6th. Walked in the 4th. Strike out and pop out the other 2 plate appearances tonight. Porter off a second, the 2-1. In there for strike 2. Eighth inning brought to you by Jimmy John's from Jimmy John's Field. Winner plays the Mammoths tomorrow at 6:05. We're live at 5:15. The 2-2. On the ground, right side. Tough play for Curiel. It gets over his glove. Porter got the late stop sign. Matulia fired a stripe into home plate, and likely a good decision by Ryan Kottke. Have to keep that runner in scoring position for Joe Burke to do whatever he can. Don't want to make that third out at home and end this 8th inning. Maybe a 2-out rally is in the works for the Hoppers if Burke can do something here. Nobody in the bullpen. It's all Jace Bauman in the 8th. Big hit by Marcoux in a big spot. Burke sees a slider inside, miss for ball 1. Joe tonight 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Walk, walk, walk in the first, third, and fourth innings. In on the hands, and he grounds it foul on the fastball. .307 on the year for Burke. We mentioned the August that he had, a .342 batting average, a reason he's the co-MVP with Chris Davis of this league. The 1-1. Swing and a line drive to left that drops in front of Gurgley. Easily scoring is Porter, and the Hoppers have their first run since the 2nd inning. Joe Burke finally gets a base hit. Marcoux down to 2nd. Schellenbarger comes up. Burke with RBI number 37 this season. Schellenbarger with 3 home runs on the year. Number 4 could pull the Hoppers within 2 runs. Hoppers have hit more home runs than anybody this season with 31 as a team. The 1-0. Hard on the ground, couple bounces to second. Burke tries his best to get in front of it before Curiel can easily field it and throw to Gooden. The Hoppers get 1 back. They need a good 9th to save their chances, trailing by 5 when we come back on the US PBL Network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Here's how we got here. Game recap brought to you by United Wholesale Mortgage. In the top of the 9th, it's 7-2 Unicorns on 11 hits over the Diamond Hoppers. Anthony Flores got us started leading off in the 2nd with a solo shot. The Unicorns just responded with 5 runs on 5 hits in the 3rd. Then in the 5th, they got another run from Lucas Gooden. He singled and scored on the sac fly 2 batters later from Felix Abarrette. Then Gooden manufactured his own run in the 7th, singling, stealing 2nd and 3rd, and scoring on a wild pitch. And obviously the RBI single from Joe Burke last half inning, the only other run for the Hoppers. Galatas came on to start the 8th. He's still out there in the 9th. He'll face 9-1-2, Curiel, Gooden, and Matulia, barring any substitutions. Curiel behind 0-2. Seth Gurgley, the only substitution so far. He took over defensively for Josh Baker in left last inning. He would be the 5th batter to come to the plate should it get to him here in the 9th, and the Hoppers are desperately hoping to avoid that scenario. And Curiel, as he usually does, uses his timeout with 2 strikes. 0 for 4 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Just hasn't been his day at the plate. He's played solid defense over at second. Got the last out of last inning. The 1-2. Picked by Porter out of the left-handed batter's box. In on the hands, and he just caught a piece of it. Two balls, 2 strikes. And now a full count. Curiel has gotten back in this at bat. Pops this one up. Shallow infield. Maddox calling everybody off. Couple steps onto the mound. A nice job to maintain his focus and composure. Makes the catch. Lucas Gooden has given everyone trouble in these playoffs. 3 hits and 3 runs scored tonight in 5 at-bats. Second game in a row, Gooden gets 6 plate appearances. Guy who walks more than anybody, percentage-wise. 34 walks in the regular season, had 1 last night. And he's ahead 2-0. Should see a good pitch here. Gooden, 4 home runs on the year. And won't see a good pitch. Outside ball 4. Walk number 36 for Gooden in his USPBL career. The second for Galatas. Double play is on as Phil Matulia will come up. Back-to-back lefties. Matulia doubled and scored in the 3rd. Other than that, he's 0 for 3 with a walk. A good bat that Jim Essien likes. Glad he got to be added to this lineup late. Porter had no idea where it went. Off his shin guard and down to second goes Gooden. We've already seen Gooden steal 3rd twice tonight. Does he do it again up by 5 in the top of the 9th? Big primary lead. Not on this pitch. This is squarely to the gap and left. Pup backing up. Tough play. And he makes the grab. Two down for Felix Aberret. Last chance for the Unicorns to pad this lead. Good guy at the plate to do it. Homered yesterday. 2-run single in the 3rd tonight, plus a sac fly in the 5th. Aberret's got 4 RBIs in these playoffs on 3 hits. First pitch is fouled. The 0-1. Porter framed it, not getting the call. 1-1. Up and in. Gooden with a much smaller primary lead now with 2 outs at second. There's the old saying, you never want to make the first and 3rd outs. First or 3rd out, I guess, at 3rd base. Likely don't see him steal here. Aberret caught a piece of it, but 2-2. Galatas comes set and will step off. Needs a little bit more rosin before trying to get one last strike. Give his team a chance in the 9th. 2-2. Up and in the two-seamer. Payoff. And he spiked it. Porter catches it, throws to third. They got him. Gooden thought he had a jump. Porter, I don't think, saw it, but looked up and it was landing in his glove. And he made a nice throw over to third to get out of the 9th. The 2-out walk doesn't do any damage. And the last chance for the Hoppers. Their season rests in the bottom of the 9th when we come back on the USPBL Network.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARBCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARBCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARBCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarbcom.com.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
There's another look at the historical playoff records for all of these teams. The Unicorns have been the best team in the postseason since this league's conception back in 2016, looking to be the first team to 8 wins. They're 3 outs away. The Hoppers have always struggled in these playoffs, and they came into tonight as the favorite, the 2 seed, with an extra day's rest, facing against a tired Unicorns pitching staff, but a pitching staff that has been phenomenal tonight. 8 complete innings. They've only given up 7 scattered hits, 2 runs, 8 walks, and 9 strikeouts. First pitch to Califoot. And a strike called on the outside. It'll be 5, 6, and 7. Califoot, Flores, and Maddox due up. Hoppers need base runners and then some. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Califoot. I think that bat slipped out of his hand as it came loose on the swing around. Light warm-up in the bullpen for the Unicorns just in case. They know anything can happen in this 9th inning. The 0-2. On the ground to second. And the Unicorns are 1 out closer to moving on to the championship. The only other teams to make it to the championship game after playing in the 3 versus 4 matchup in the first day of the playoffs, the Beavers did it in the COVID season in 2020, and the Mammoths did it as the 4 seed back in 2017. Unicorns looking to be the second 4 seed to make it there. No team has ever won 3 straight games to win a USPBL title. The 0-1. Outside with the slider. One ball, 1 strike. Up and in. Flores thought about it. Smartly pulls the bat back. Bauman came on to start the 8th. It was a little shaky. Walked Porter. And gave up a single to Marcoux and a single to Burke with 2 outs that scored Porter, but then got out of it. And Flores under the glove of the third baseman Weber gets a 2-1 line drive single to third base. And there's one base runner for the Hoppers. Now Todd Maddox. They've just got to be desperately hoping they can get this back to the top of the order. Maddox is up. Porter will be next. Should they get there, then Pup behind him before it flips to Acevedo at the top. First pitch swinging, Maddox right through a fastball. Todd tonight 0-for-4 with a strikeout. He's due for a base hit. 3 groundouts in the other 3 at-bats. Swings and misses at the off-speed. Bauman's easily out in front, 0-2. Maddox not using his timeout. He digs in, ready to go. Bauman works the first base side of the rubber, comes set. Flores not being held on at first. The pitch just barely tipped foul. Out in front, he went back to the slider. Maddox lives to fight another day. Now Gooden holds Flores on at first. Swing and a miss. Fastball up. Maddox swings through it. 2 down in the 9th. Bauman's first strikeout is a big one. The Hoppers' season rests on the shoulders of Taj Porter. First pitch swinging, and he misses. Another fastball, 0-1. Taj was a defensive sub in the 7th, led off the 8th and walked and scored. Now in the 9th, behind 0-1. Slider outside edge, clips the back door for a strike. And the Hoppers are down to their last strike, which means Taj Porter will take his timeout. Unicorns were down to their last strike, trailing by 2 runs just about 24 hours ago. They came back to score 3 in the 9th and get themselves to this game. They lead it by 5 here on the 0-2. Outside fastball. Everyone holds their breath. Home plate umpire does not go up with the right hand. It's 1-2. Hoppers waiting on a prayer. The 1-2. High with the fastball. 2-2. Pup waits on deck. Top of the order, Acevedo in the hole. It's Flores over at first. 2 down in the 9th. Unicorns looking to close it out. Jace Bauman delivers. Just fouled. Tension building with every extra pitch in this at-bat. The rain starting to fall again for the 3rd time tonight at Jimmy John's Field. Wind has been a non-factor. The 2-2. Ball 3. Porter worked a full count walk last time. Finds himself in the same situation. Payoff pitch. Out to left. It will drop in front of Gurgley. Flores was moving on the pitch, but not enough to get to third. Taj Porter stays alive. A 2-out knock. Now it's Alex Pup's turn. Really good at bat from Porter. Can't fathom the nerves he had right there. Bauman's going to take some extra time to tie his shoe. Inning started with Califoot grounding out on an 0-2. Then Flores singled. Maddox struck out on 4 pitches. Porter the long single, and now Pup takes a slider for a strike. Pup doubled in his first at-bat. A walk and 2 contact outs since. The 0-1 is stopped by Aberrett. Another slider outside, 1-1. They want to get Pup swinging here out in front of that slider. He's been really improved this year with his plate discipline. Check swing. Did he go? The appeal, he did. 1-2. And again, the Hoppers down to their last strike. Pup will take his timeout. Decision hanging in the balance. The lights illuminating the rain here at Jimmy John's Field. Pup waiting on the 1-2. Thought about it, but a slider just misses away. Good layoff. Pup will see one more. Flores off a second. Porter off a first. Bauman delivers. Strike 3 called. High fastball got him, and the Unicorns are going to the championship. This team will not quit. The Utica Unicorns were down to their last strike last night multiple times and stormed back in the 9th. Today they jump out to the early 5-1 lead in the 3rd and never look back. An insurance run in the 5th and 7th innings gives the Unicorns enough to advance to the championship, just the second 4 seed ever in USPBL history to win 2 straight games to play in the finals. They'll face the Westside Woolly Mammoths tomorrow at 6:05. Pregame begins at 5:15. We've got a flurry of interviews for you scheduled. You don't want to miss them right here on the USPBL network. 7-2 the final score. Chelsea Cooper, our in-game host tonight, is going to have the post-game interview with our player of the game. She has grabbed Jacob Harsany. 4 innings of shutout baseball, only gave up 1 hit, walked 4 batters, but struck out 7. Everyone thought Harsany was going to be the starter tonight. Instead, it was Tristan Harvin. He did a fantastic job with not much left in the gas tank, getting through the first 3 innings, only allowing 1 run. The solo shot on the first pitch to Anthony Flores in the bottom of the 2nd. He got through the 3rd, and then Harsany did his job to get it all the way to the 8th, where it was handed to Jace Bauman, who did a fantastic job in the 8th and 9th. Allowed a couple hits, but no runs came across under Bauman's watch except for Taj Porter, and his run in the 8th didn't matter. Unicorns win it 7-2 on 11 hits. The Hoppers 2 runs on 9 hits. Very clean defensive game. No errors for either side. A fun one to watch, a fun one to call. We hope you enjoyed watching it at home on the broadcast. Moments away from our post-game interview with Chelsea Cooper, who has Jacob Harsany, the relief pitcher for the Unicorns. Now she's got Jacob.
Detroit News Player of the Game, Jacob Harsany from the Utica Unicorns. You had yourself quite a game, my friend. 4 innings pitched. You had no runs, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. Clearly, things were working well for you up there. What was going through your head up on the mound tonight?
Getting to the field today, there was a chance it could have been the last time I step on a baseball mound, so I just wanted to treat every pitch like it was my last. Struggled with command the first inning that I got in there, but eventually I got settled in. Sliders, lots of sliders, and I just competed, and I'm just happy that we won the game. Everyone played great. We got out to an early lead, and it makes it so much easier to pitch when you have a lead. So.
That's right, you guys really got in the groove, and truthfully, you guys have been the underdogs in the whole championship series. You guys are going to the championship tomorrow. So what's the Unicorns' approach heading into that big game?
we're like a contact hitting team, and we've been just piecing at bats together, stealing bases, getting walks, and I think if we get enough run support, it makes it so much easier to win, and pitchers just got to throw strikes and compete, and I think we have a pretty good chance at winning it. So.
Just keep doing what you guys are doing. All right, everyone, Jacob Harsney, your Detroit News Player of the Game. Congratulations. I'll see you tomorrow at the championship game. Johnny, back to you.
That's Chelsea Cooper throwing it up to our public address announcer, Johnny Grab. Back here on the broadcast, the Unicorns win it 7-2. Should be a good one tomorrow. The 4 seed against the 1 seed. Can the Unicorns continue this improbable run and become the first ever 4 seed to win a USPBL championship? Or will the Mammoths be the first team not named the Beavers or the Unicorns to hoist the trophy? We'll find out at 6:05 tomorrow. Pregame starts at 5:15 with myself and Carol Wolfbauer here on the USPBL Network. I'm Brennan Shabat. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will see you tomorrow on the USPBL Network. Pup will see one more. Flores off a second. Porter off a first. Ballman delivers. Strike 3 called. High fastball got him, and the Unicorns are going to the championship. This team will not quit.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorn. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we